Aranya Kand, Canto 1, Slaying of Viradh. Lord Shiva said, O Parvati, Sri Ram stayed at the hermitage of sage Atri that day, and the next morning he bathed and prepared to leave. He said, O sage, we wish to go to the Dandakaranya forest, which is adorned by different groups or clusters of hermits, sages, ascetics, etc. So please give us your permission. Give instructions to some of your disciples to show us the path. Hearing these words of Sri Ram, the most famous and renowned sage Atri replied, O Sri Ram, O the shelter for gods, you are the path blazer for all. Then say, who can show you the path? Nevertheless, since you are following the normal behavior of an ordinary human, my disciples will surely go to show you the way. Then, having ordered his disciples accordingly, sage Atri himself went for some distance to see off Sri Ram. And when the latter requested him most affectionately not to proceed any further, he returned back to his hermitage. After having gone a distance of 1 kosha, that's approximately 2 miles, Sri Ram saw a very large river. Then the lotus-eyed Sri Ram asked the disciples sent by Rishi Atri, O Brahmacharis, is there any way to cross the river? The disciples replied, O Raghunandan, there is a strong boat here. We shall put you into it and take you across the river in a short while. Then the hermit's sons boarded Sri Ram and Laxman along with Mata Sita on the boat and then took them soon to the other side of the river. Then, after having praised and honored Sri Ram, they returned to the hermitage of sage Atri. Then Sri Ram, Lakshmana, Mata Sita reached a very dense and wild forest, echoing with the clamour of insects such as crickets. It was full of different types of wild, ferocious, and cruel animals such as lions and tigers. It was infested with horrible demons who assumed terrible shapes and forms. Entering that wild, dense, fearsome, awful, and thrilling forest, Sri Ram said to Lakshmana, from here onwards, we must walk with great vigilance and keep ourselves fully alert. I will string my bow and keep an arrow ready in hand and walk in the front, while you must walk similarly in the rear. Mata Sita must walk in between the two of us, just as Maya stays between the Supreme Lord and the creature. O the vanquisher of opponents, keep a watchful eye in every direction. As we have heard earlier, there appears a great fear from demons in this forest. In this way, talking cheerfully with each other, they went ahead, carefree for a distance about 1.5 yojanas, which is around 6 koshas or 12 miles. There was a small lake there, adorned by lilies, lotuses, and water hyacinths. The lake appeared very enchanting, being surrounded by dense lotus plants and having cool water. They went near it and drank its cool, comforting water and sat down to rest in the shade of a tree near its bank. At that moment, they saw a huge, most dreadful, formidable, strong, and fierce demon who was an ogre approaching them. His mouth was full of large, sharp teeth and had strong jaws. It created great fear by its dreadful roar, and it had a trident on its left shoulder, which had many humans pierced and impaled on it. It was proceeding forwarding menacingly, all the while eating many wild elephants, lions, and wild buffaloes that came in his way. Seeing him, Sri Ram readied his bow and told Lakshmana, O brother, look in front of us. Is this wild, ferocious rogue, colossus, mammoth-like demon who creates fear and horror in the heart of timid people. You should put your arrow on the bow and become alert. Janaki, don't be afraid. Saying this, Sri Ram mounted his arrow on the bow and stood motionless like a mountain. Soon that colossus demon saw Sri Ram, Lakshmana, and Mata Sita, laughed aloud derisively, creating fear in all by his thunderous and chilling voice. He said, "O youthful children, attired in clothes made of birch, having matted lock of hairs and holding bows and arrows, who are you in the form of a hermit? You have a woman with you, and you appear to be very arrogant, proud, and haughty. You look very beautiful, and are like the morsel of food in my mouth. Alas, why have you come in this forest infested by cruel wild animals?" Hearing these words of the demon, Sri Ram replied to him smilingly, "My name is Ram, and he is my dear brother Laxman. This lady is my dear wife Sita. On the orders of our father, we have come to the forest to teach a lesson to those who are like you." Hearing these words of Sri Ram, he laughed thunderously and heartily. Opening his mouth wide, he lifted his trident in his hands. He said, "O Sri Ram, don't you know me? I'm the world famous Viradh. It is due to my fear that all the resident hermits and sages have fled and abandoned this forest and have gone away to some other place. If you wish to live, then leave Sita here and run away without your arms. Otherwise, I shall immediately eat you too." Saying this, that demon lunged forward to catch hold of Sita. Sri Ram laughed and dismembered his arms. At this, being overcome with a terrible anger, the demon opened his fierce and horrible mouth wide and rushed towards Sri Ram to gobble him up. Then Sri Ram severed the two legs of Viradh, who was coming in his direction. This was a very strange and fantastic happening never witnessed before. Hence, he crawled forward to swallow Sri Ram in his mouth like a large snake. At this, Sri Ram sliced off his head with an arrow shaped like a crescent moon. The demon became drenched in blood and immediately fell on the ground. Seeing him dead in this manner, Mata Sita embraced the most exalted son of Raghu's clan, Sri Ram, and showered immense praises on him. The gods sounded their trumpets in the sky. The Apsaras began dancing while the Gandharvas and the Kinnars began singing adulatory, felicitous songs in honor of Sri Ram. Just a note, Apsaras are celestial female dancers, the Gandharvas are celestial musicians, and the Kinnars are celestial male dancers and singers. Moving on. Presently, a very handsome male emerged from the dead body of Viradh. He was as splendorous as a midday sun in the sky. He was adorned by beautiful clothes and ornaments made of molten gold. That gentleman cheerfully bowed before Sri Ram, who removes the worries, sorrows, and troubles of those who have taken his refuge, who helps one to cross over the ocean-like, measureless, mundane world, who is merciful and compassionate and is of a very cheerful disposition. He once again prostrated himself on the earth like a stick before the Lord to pay his deepest reverence and obeisance. Viradh said, "O the lotus petal-eyed Sri Ram, I am Vidyadhar, the pure and radiant one. In an earlier time, sage Durvasa, who used to get angry and wrathful even without a cause, had cursed me. He had liberated me, you have liberated me from that curse today. Now, have grace upon me so that in future I shall always be able to have remembrance, fervor, dedicated and ardent devotion in your holy feet, which removes the shackles of this world. Let my voice always chant or speak your holy name. Let my ears always hear your divine stories. Let my hands always worship your lotus-like feet, and let my head keep on bowing before your holy feet. O Lord, You are an embodiment of pristine pure Gyan. I bow before you. You are Ram because you remain contented in your natural, inherent, truthful form. You are called Sita Ram too, along with your Maya or delusionary power, or your primordial, cosmic, infinite, eternal, all powerful creative energy represented by Sita, namely as a divine couple, Ram and Sita, and are the creator of the world. I bow before you. O Shri Ram, I am in your refuge. You should protect and save me. For the best in the clan of Raghu, by your permission, I am going to the abode of gods. Please bless me so that your delusionary powers called Maya does not have influence over me. When Viradh had prayed as above, Raghunandan was pleased and bestowed him with his boon. O Vidyadhar, you should go now. You have conquered all the virtues and evils of Maya. You are the most exalted among the wise and enlightened ones, and because of the effects of my darshan, you are immediately emancipated and salvaged. In this world, my bhakti is very difficult. If it arises at all in the heart, it is sure to give emancipation and salvation to the creature. You are endowed with my sincere devotion, so you should go to my supreme abode on my orders. In this manner, Sri Ram slayed a very ferocious and formidable demon, liberated him from his curse, blessed him, and restored him to his former wise self as Vidyadhar. A person who dedicatedly worships and adores Sri Ram by singing the glorious deeds which he had done is sure to receive the desired fruits and objects in this world as a reward. With that, we come to the end of Canto 1, Aranya Kand, Canto 2. Sri Ram meets sages Sharbhang and Sutikshan. Lord Shiva said, O Parvati, after Viradh had gone to heaven, Sri Ram and Laxman along with Sita went to the all-comfort providing and pleasant forest of sage Sharbhanga. The wise sage stood up immediately when he saw Sri Ram come towards him with Mata Sita and Lakshmana. He went forward to receive them, duly worshipped and adored them, and seated them on a mat. Then he offered his guests fruits, roots, and stems as refreshment. After that, sage Sharbhang affectionately asked the Lord, who is most gracious and munificent towards his devotees? I have been living here for a long time doing determined austerities and penances, with a desire to have your holy darshan. O Sri Ram, you are the personification of the Supreme Lord Himself. All the punya that I have gathered till now by doing tapa, I shall offer all of it to you today, and in return I shall get the exalted state of emancipation and salvation. Saying this, sage Sharbhanga, who was a great renunciate and a most exalted ascetic, offered all his immense fruits derived from his doing punya to Sri Ram, bowed in reverence to him, who is without an end, is measureless and is limitless, as well as beyond logic and comprehension together with Mata Sita. Then the sage strode the funeral pile effortlessly. While on the pyre, he meditated for a long time on the forms of Lakshman and Sita, along with Sri Ram, who is all-pervading, omnipresent, dark complexioned like the durba grass, lotus-eyed, wears a pitambar and a smooth lock of matted hair on his head. The sage said to him, Ah, in this world, who else except Raghunayak is more merciful, compassionate, beneficent, and magnanimous that he fulfills all the desires of his devotees simply by remembering him? I had been constantly and dedicatedly devoted towards him, and had been remembering him daily for a long time. So he has been so gracious and kind that he has come here himself to meet me. Let Sri Ram, the son of Dasharath, and the Lord of gods constantly watch me, for I shall be burning my mortal body, become sinless, and then go to the abode of Brahma. Let Raghav, the Lord of Ayodhya, who has Sita inseparably on his left as lightning, is established in a cloud, always reside permanently in my heart. In this way, meditating on Sri Ram and his form present in front of him for a long time, sage Sharbhanga kindled the fire and burnt his mortal body made up of the five elements, the Pancha Mahaputha, earth, water, fire, air, and sky. He assumed a divine form and went to Brahmalok. After that, all the resident sages, hermits, etc., of Dandakaranya came to sage Sharbhanga's hermitage to have a divine view of Sri Ram. Seeing that congregation of sages and hermits, Sri Ram, Laxman, and Sita, who were in the illusionary image of human beings, bowed before them by putting their heads on the ground. Those sages honored the omnipresent, all pervading Lord Ram, who resides in the heart of all, by blessing him, and then they said to the bow and arrow bearing Sri Hari with folded hands, on the prayers of Brahma, you have manifested yourself to remove the burden of the earth. We know that you are Sri Hari himself. Sita is goddess Lakshmi. Lakshman is the legendary Sheshnath in right earnest, while Bharat and Shatrughan are the conch and discuss of Lord Vishnu respectively. So, you must first remove the sorrows, distress, and agonies of the sages, hermits, and seers here. O the best one in Raghu's clan, please come, along with Sita and Lakshman, who have come along with us, and pay a visit to each of our hermitages individually. By doing this, you will have shown great mercy, grace, and pity on us. Being so earnestly requested with folded hands, Sri Ram accompanied the sages to their forest. There, Sri Ram saw many skulls and skeletons strewn in all directions. Seeing them, Sri Ram inquired about them from the accompanying sages. To whom do these skeletons belong? Why are they lying here? Then the sages replied, O Sri Ram, these are the skulls of sages, hermits, ascetics, and seers. O the able, potent one, they have been eaten by ogres. These demons roam about seeking an opportunity to pounce upon them when they are engrossed in deep meditation and therefore unable to escape. Hearing these pitiful words, full of fear from the sages, Sri Ram made a vow to kill all the demons. Sri Ram wandered around, visiting the various hermitages of forest dwelling hermits and sages. Being worshipped, adored, and honored by them, Sri Ram spent some years there along with Lakshmana and Sita. After that, they went to the famous sage Sutikshan's hermitage, which was full of many sages and hermits, had the characters of all the seasons, and therefore was comfortable at all times. Hearing of Sri Ram's arrival, sage Agastya's disciple Sutikshana, who was a worshipper of the Ram mantra, went forward himself to receive and duly worship him as per established tradition. At that time, sage Sutikshana's eyes were devotionally eager to have darshan of the Lord. Sage Sutikshana said, O Sitapati, the one with endless virtues, who is measureless, limitless, and endless, it is your holy mantra that I repeat constantly. O Sri Ram, the enchanting, beautiful, and bewitching one, Lord Shiva and Brahma are dependent on your holy feet. Your holy feet are like a strong and robust ship to take one across the ocean like mundane world. I am always the servant of the humbler devotee, though You are not the subject matter of comprehension, understanding, debate, and grasp by the sense organs in this world. You still have mercifully and graciously come yourself to give your holy darshan to me, realizing that I am a dud and stone hearted fellow, one who has fallen in the dead well, represented by sons, kith, kin, and household, under the spell of your delusionary powers called Maya. My heart is shackled by the attachments to this puppet like body, consisting essentially of fecal matter and excreta. Your whole mantra are chanted by your Maya, while those who are diligent and steadfast in your mantra are able to avoid your Maya. In this manner, just like a judicious and just king, you give fruits to all according to their service. O the Lord of the universe, actually, it is you who, being the cause for the origin, sustenance, and annihilation of this universe, appear in the form of Brahma and Vishnu and Shiva. By virtue of your Maya, endowed with the triple qualities of sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic respectively, it is you who appear in various forms in the sight of people who are under the deceptive illusionary spell of your Maya, just like the same sun appears numerous in different pans of water. O Sri Ram, though you are beyond the scope of ignorance and lack of true knowledge, still I'm seeing your holy feet in practical terms. Though you are invisible, unrighteous people, you still show your benevolence towards those whose mind, heart, and intellect have been purified by doing japa of your holy mantra. O Sri Ram, though you are without a form, still I am watching your attractive and charming human form, which you have assumed on the strength of your own delusion creating powers. This human form of yours is as radiant as crores of Kamadeo cupids, or by its beauty as your adornment. Your heart is compassionate and malleable, while your face looks most attractive and enchanting with its sweet, pleasant, and bewitching smile on it. I always, day and night, reverentially bow to Sri Ram, who is with Sita, wears a deerskin, is always victorious and invincible, whose lotus like feet are routinely served by the son of Sumitra, whose countenance resembles a blue cloud with a dazzle of lightning, who's endowed with immeasurable virtues, is most serene, and is an image of my good fortunes. O Sri Ram, let those who recognize you in your form, which is without any attributes or characteristics associated with place, circumstance, time, etc., is a treasury of eternal light, of eternal truth and enlightenment. Let them know it as such. But for me, let this image of your personal personified form as the visible counterpart of that supreme soul called Ram, which I behold in front of me now, be always experienced in my heart in this very visible form. I do not have desire for any other form of the Lord except that which I behold in front of my eyes now. When Sutikshan had thus prayed, Sri Ram smiled and said to him, O sage, I know that your mind, intellect, and heart have been purified by my dedicated and sincere devotion and worship, and you have no other reliance, support, succor, means, dependence, etc., except me. That is why I have come to see you. In this world, those who worship and adore my mantra have ardent, unwavering, and unflinching devotion for me. Stay in my refuge and remain even, equanimity and equitable towards all, as well as absorbed in infinite and endless truth about me and my form. I do give my divine vision, that is darshan, to them regularly. Those people who recite with dedication this stotra you have said for me in my honor, they get my pristine, pure devotion and enlightenment. You have attained full emancipation and salvation even while you are still alive, by the virtue of merely worshipping and having sincere devotion for me. When you leave your mortal body, you shall without doubt attain my supreme, blissful, peaceful, holy, and divine feet. Now I wish to meet your exalted Guru, sage Agastya. My heart is eager to spend some days living with him. Sutikshan replied, All right, we shall go there tomorrow. I have also not seen the Exalted One for a long time. Hence, I too shall come accompany you there. At the crack of dawn the next morning, Sri Ram, together with Mata Sita and Lakshmana, and accompanied by sage Sutikshana, slowly but eagerly wended his way towards the hermitage of sage Agastya's younger brother named Agnijiva to meet and talk with the former. With that, we come to the end of Canto 2. Aranya Kand, Canto 3, Sri Ram at sage Agastya's hermitage. Lord Shiva said, O Parvati, that afternoon Sri Ram, accompanied by Sutikshana, Sita, and Laxman, reached the place of the younger brother of sage Agastya en route to the latter's hermitage. The younger brother of the sage duly worshipped and adored them all and offered them refreshments of roots, stems, and fruits. Next day, as soon as they got up, he moved ahead to sage Agastya's hermitage. That hermitage was full of fruits and flowers belonging to all the seasons, was served by various fruit-dwelling animals, and reverberated by the chirping and clamour of various birds. It resembled the Nandanvan. It was served by Brahma Rishis and Deva Rishis. As a side note, a Brahma Rishi are the exalted sages and seers who were of a stature equivalent to Lord Brahma, and the Deva Rishis were exalted sages and seers who had attained the stature and powers possessed by the gods. While their own individual hermitages surrounded it. In this aspect, it resembled a duplicate Brahmalok. Staying outside of the hermitage, Sri Ram said to Sutikshana, O Sutikshana, you should go to sage Agastya immediately and inform him about my arrival together with Mata Sita and Lakshmana. Saying so, it is a very happy news. He hastened to his Guru's place. When he reached the spot, he saw that the most exalted sage Agastya was seated, surrounded by a group of sages, especially those devoted to Sri Ram, and was explaining to them and teaching them the meaning and various connotations of the Ram mantra. At this moment, Sutikshana approached him, showing his respects to his Guru, Agastya, by prostrating in front of him. The wise-minded Sutikshana said, O Brahmin, Dasharath's son, Sri Ram, along with Sita and Laxman, have come to have your darshan, and they are standing outside with folded hands. Sage Agastya said, O son, you be blessed. Please go quickly and bring them here. Sri Ram, who dwells in my heart, I stay here always remembering him with a desire to have his darshan. Saying this, he himself got up and came to Sri Ram, accompanied by other hermits and sages. He said to him most reverentially and devotedly, O Sri Ram, come, be blessed with all the welfare and auspiciousness. It is a great fortune and privilege that we have come in upon your company today. Today's day is most rewarding and fulfilling for us because I have got you, who is most dear and loving. as my guest of honor. When Sri Ram saw the sage coming towards him, he was exhilarated and joyfully lay prostrate on the ground. Then the king among sages lifted Sri Ram and embraced him affectionately and devotionally. The bliss and happiness that he derived by the touch with the divine body of Sri Ram made the sage's eyes well up with tears. Thence sage Agastya caught hold of one hand of Sri Ram and escorted him most cheerfully to his hermitage. There he seated him on a mat, worshipped and adored him duly with all the established rituals, and offered him refreshments of various seasonal fruits of the forest. When Sri Ram was sitting comfortably alone, Lord Agastya said to Sri Ram, who was like a full moon with folded hands, O Sri Ram, since the time when near the Shir Sagar, Lord Brahma had prayed to you to kill Ravana in order to remove the burden of the earth, I have been living here along with other hermits, sages, and seers with a desire to have your divine holy darshan, doing tapa and always remembering and thinking about you and waiting for your auspicious arrival. In the beginning of this creation, you were all alone, were without an alternative or any attributes. Maya, which relies on you, is sustained by you, dwells in you, and which has you as its subject or focus, is said to be your energy. When this Maya surrounds you as a sheath or cover, your Nirgun characteristic form is assigned with the adjectives of unmanifest, indefinable, intangible, not apparent, unclear, inarticulate, by those who are steeped in Vedanta. Some call this as essential nature and others call it Maya. It is also known by the names of ignorance or a combination of birth and death or shackles, tying one to this mundane, illusionary world. Excited by you, this delusionary power creates a sense of importance and ego, and this results in pride, haughtiness, arrogance, and hypocrisy. Being infused or infested by importance and ego, this pride and haughtiness produces three characteristic patterns of behavior: sattvic, rajasic, and tamasic. Out of the tamas quality, that is the third most base characteristic, emerged the five subtle perceptions of sound, touch, sight, taste, and smell. Each of these respectively represented the five elements of sky, space, air, fire, water, and earth. Out of the second quality of Rajas emerged the 10 sense organs, consisting of the gross body of the creature. From the sattvic first quality were produced the patron gods of these 10 sense organs, as well as the mind intellect heart complex, the subtle body of the creature. With the combination of all these three tamasic, rajasic, and sattvic qualities emerged. The minuscule atom-like but all-encompassing, attributeless, all-pervading, intangible, omniscient, subtle form called the Hiranyagarbha. The other name of this Hiranyagarbha is the microcosmic subtle body, or the Sutratma, residing in the individual creature itself. Now, as a next step, out of the combination of the five basic gross elements, that's the Panchamahabhutas, emerged the Viradh, literally large, vast, all-encompassing. Out of this Viradh Purush emerged, or manifested, this whole mirrored animate and inanimate creation. Depending upon the circumstances, times, and deeds, it is you who have manifested, revealed himself in the different yonis and forms of gods, animals, winged creatures, and humans, etc., by virtue of different qualities, or characteristics or powers of Maya, you yourself have become the creator, Brahma, by the Rajasic quality, the sustainer, nourisher, caretaker, Vishnu, by the Sattvic quality, and the destroyer, annihilator, Shiva, by the Tamasic quality, respectively. As a note, the 10 sense organs are 5 organs of perception, such as ears, nose, eyes, skin, and tongue. The 5 organs of action are hands, feet, mouth, organs of excretion, and organs of reproduction. Hiranyagarbha, literally, the musk-like entity embedded in the deer-like creature. The latter runs around pursuing the smell or searching the existence of the musk which resides in the body of the deer itself. But the latter, out of ignorance, does not realize it. The Hiranyagarbha is the macrocosmic subtle body of the macrocosmic gross body of the Viradh Purush. This concept has been explained in this particular 2 stotras. Moving on. O Sri Ram, because of mind-intellect complexes 3 qualities, that is, the sattva, rajas, and tamas, the creature has 3 states of consciousness, that is, jagrat, which is the waking state of consciousness, swapna, dream state of consciousness, and shushupti, deep sleep state of consciousness. But you are totally different and an independent witness to these, are an embodiment of eternal enlightenment, wisdom, and truthful knowledge, and are completely faultless and attributeless. O Raghunandan, when you desire to create and expand that creation, you embark your Maya for this purpose and pretend to become one who possesses various characteristics, qualities, and attributes. O Sri Ram, this Maya of yours always appears, that is experienced in 2 forms, that is, via Vidya, the awareness of truthful knowledge, and avidya, ignorance or lack of true knowledge. Those creatures who follow the path of indulgence and attachments are under the spell of the latter, avidya, while those who understand the essential meaning and teachings of the Upanishads, who wish to follow the path of deliverance, detachment, renunciation, and liberation, are steeped in your sincere and dedicated devotion and worship, are understood to be aware, enlightened, wise, and knowledgeable. Again, those who are yoked to avidya are eternally shackled to the delusionary mundane world consisting of the cycle of birth, death, while those who have acquired vidya are the ones who obtain eternal liberation once and for all. In this world, vidya emerges in the internal self of only those creatures who are eager, dedicated, and steadfast in your devotion and worship, as well as concentrate on your holy mantras and on nothing else. Hence, evidently, those persons who are endowed with your devotion are without doubt liberated. Verily, there is no scope of obtaining salvation without your sincere devotion, even in one's dreams. O Sri Ram, what more can I say? I shall tell you the essential things on this subject. Company of saints has been the main cause of getting emancipation and salvation. Those persons who are even-minded, both in sorrow as well as under favorable circumstances in this world, are without desires, are without attachment to desires pertaining to sun and wealth, restrain their sense organs and their gratification, are serene, are sincerely devoted and dedicated to you, are devoid of all desires, greed, avarice, and ambition, are even-keeled, even while going through the throes of destruction or construction, are without encumbrances and attachments of any kind, abandons all deeds, that is, does not regard himself as a doer, nor expects any reward or punishment for it, are always the followers of Brahma, are endowed with yam and other virtues, and are contented and satisfied with whatever comes their way. Such persons who possess these virtues are truly sadhus. Whenever one gets communion with such saints, one develops endearment and interest in your divine stories. O Sri Ram, hence one gets devotion in you who are an eternal being. When this happens, one gets pristine, pure, and immense wisdom about you and your true essential nature. This is the prime path towards emancipation and salvation, followed by clever and wise ones. Hence, O Raghav, let me have eternal and constant, most prime devotion characterized by love, dedication, humility, supplication, and affection for you. And O Hari, let me have communion with your devotees for most of the time. O Lord, my life has been successful to have your divine darshan today. O Lord, all my yagyas have been completed today. I have done tapa with great diligence and sincerity for a long time. O Sri Ram, the physical worship that I was able to do today is the evident reward of all those tapas. O Ragha, you should always reside in my heart along with Mata Sita. Let me always remember you even while going about my daily chores. After having done the stuti in the praise and honor of Ramnath, the most exalted sage Agastya gave Sri Ram Lord Indra's divine bow, two quivers full of arrows, which were magically endowed by an unending supply of divine arrows, and a gem-studded sword which the sage had got from Indra on some previous occasion in the past. Then he said, O Raghav, kill the demons who are like a burden on this earth. Just as note, this verse tells us that the divine arms which were used to kill the demons were handed over to Sri Ram by sage Agastya here. These were used to kill Khar and Dushan. The two quivers were meant one each for the two brothers. Indra's bow was probably meant for Laxmana because previously Parashuram had already given Lord Vishnu's bow to Sri Ram when the two had met while the latter was returning to Ayodhya from Janakpur after his marriage. Moving on. You have taken a form of human being for this particular purpose after 2 yojans, that's roughly 4 to 8 miles. From here, surrounded by a pristine and verdant forest, and on the banks of river Gomati, is the hermitage called Panchvati. O both of you of Raghu's clan, spend the rest of your forest exile or sojourn period there. O the truthful Lord, finish many of the works of the gods which are pending while you live there. Hence, the all-knowing, omnipresent, powerful, and magnanimous Lord, on having heard the pleasant and charming talk, as well as stotras and hymns rich in essential wisdom and enlightenment sung in his praise and honor by sage Agastya, and having obtained his permission, gladly moved on the path in the direction showed by the sage. With that, we come to the end of Canto 3. Aranya Kand, Canto 4, Meeting with Jatau, Sri Ram's sojourn at Panchvati, preaching Laxman. Lord Shiva said, O Parvati, while on his way, Sri Ram saw the old Jatau vulture sitting like a huge conical mountain. He was astonished at seeing him, wondering, what is this? Then he said to Laxman, O son of Sumitra, bring my bow. Look, that demon is sitting in front. I will immediately kill this rascal who feeds upon sages and hermits. Hearing these words of Sri Ram, the king of vultures, Jatau, was so appalled and terrified by fear that he pleaded, O Sri Ram, I am not fit to be killed by you, because I am your father Dashrath's dear friend. I am a vulture by the name of Jatayu. You be blessed. I am your well-wisher. I shall stay in Panchvati with the intention of your welfare and providing you with protection. Some day, when Laxman would go to the forest to hunt, I shall make sincere efforts to protect the Janakanya, Mata Sita. Hearing these words of the vulture, Sri Ram said affectionately, O king of vultures, all right, stay near the forest and remain near enough to protect our interests. Giving Jatayu his consent, Sri Ram embraced him, and along with his brother Laxman and Sita went to Panchvati. Reaching the banks of river Gomati, he got a large cottage, a thatched dwelling built by the expert Lakshmana. On the northern banks of river Gomati and Ganga, they put up residence at a lonely, serene, disease-free, that basically means unpolluted area, which was richly endowed with fruit trees of the Kadamba, Panas, jackfruit, and the Amra, mango. Sri Ram, along with the wise Lakshmana, started living happily at that place, which was equivalent to the abode of Indra in his majesty, magnificence. He always tried to keep the daughter of Janak in good cheer and entertained. Lakshmana, who was ever eager to serve Sri Ram, brought edible roots, stems, and fruits daily for him. And during the night, he kept awake and maintained a strict vigil with a bow and arrow. They used to bathe daily in river Gomati. During those days, Sita used to stay betwixt the two brothers because it was not very safe. Laxman used to bring water for them daily with a cheerful mind and serve them diligently and devotedly. In this manner, the three of them began to live there most happily and comfortably. One day, Lakshmana went to Sri Ram, who was sitting alone, and asked him politely, O Bhagwan, I wish to hear from your mouth the sure and uncorrupted way to attain emancipation and salvation. Hence, O the lotus-eyed one, please describe to me in brief. O the most exalted in Raghu's clan, tell me the truthful knowledge infused with devotion, renunciation, and wisdom. In this world, there is no one else to elucidate on this subject other than you. Sri Ram said, O son, listen. I shall tell you the most secretive, untold, and difficult of all the secrets and mysteries of knowledge, which makes a man freed immediately from the illusion created by this confusing, confounding, and perplexing world. First of all, I shall tell you the form of Maya. Then I shall tell you the way to achieve and attain Gyan, true knowledge. And thereafter I shall describe that Gyan which is based on sound logic and reasoning. Besides these, I shall also tell you the nature of knowable, discernible, realizable, conceivable, and understandable Supreme Soul or the Paramatma, knowing which a person becomes free from the fears of this illusionary, entrapping, mundane world. Identifying the Atma with the body, or those things or substances which are external to the Atma, is called Maya, hallucination or ignorance. This world has been imagined due to it. O Kul Nandan, Maya has been classified by the two forms which it has. One is Vikshep, perplexity of mind, confusion, diversion, or distractions. Could also be considered as fickleness and their incumbent sorrows and agitations. And the other is Avaran. It's a covering, and sheath of ignorance, which covers or hides the truth. So Vikshep and Avaran. Out of these two, the first one, Vikshep, that is the power to create delusions and confusion, creates the imaginary world consisting of the entire gamut of subtle and gross qualities or elements extending right from the elementary feeling of importance up to Brahm, by the virtue of differentiating between them. The second power of Avaran completely covers in a sheath or veil the truth and essential rightful knowledge of the true nature of the soul or self in a perpetual manner. This whole world is an imaginary conception in the entity called Paramatma, and is as falsehood, deceptive, and illusionary as the fear of a snake in a length of rope or string. On deep contemplation, nothing stands. Whatever people always hear, see, and remember are all false like a dream and as a result of their imagination. The body is like the strong root of this delusionary world-like tree. It is because of this that one has the ties of a son, kith and kin, family, etc. Otherwise, say what has the Atma got to do with it? The 5 gross elements, the 5 subtle thoughts or sense perceptions, pride, haughtiness, hypocrisy, wisdom and thought processes, the 10 sense organs, the reflection or experience of the supreme eternal macrocosmic soul in the microcosmic soul, mind-heart complex and the elementary, pristine, pure and prime nature. The combination of all these should be regarded as the area or domain which is also known as the body. The jiva, which is faultless embodiment or a reflection or an image of the Paramatma or the Supreme Soul, is completely separate, independent or distinct from all these. Now I shall tell you some methods to recognize what that jiva is. Listen carefully. The jiva and the Paramatma are synonymous with each other. Both mean and indicate the same entity. Hence, one should not distinguish between the two of them. One should be far from arrogance, forsake vanity, and causing harm to others. Should tolerate with forbearance accusations and rebukes made by others. Be of a universally simple and humble outlook. Should devotedly, sincerely, and diligently serve a true Guru by one's heart, speech, and body. One should be pure outwardly as well as inwardly. Should be eager and diligent in doing righteous, noble, and good deeds. Should have self-restraint over the mind, speech, and body. Should not be indulgent in sensual pleasures of this world. Be totally devoid of pride. Should think and contemplate over the agonies and tribulations caused by and associated with birth, death, disease, and old age. Should not have infatuation, involvement, or attachment with women, sons, and wealth. Should be even-minded during both favorable and unfavorable circumstances, as well as by honor or rebuke. Should have abiding, consistent, and unwavering faith, belief, conviction, and reliance upon me, Ram, who is the soul of all the creatures. One should reside at a secluded, lonely place, which is sanctified and compatible. Should be always indifferent to people who can be classified as being worldly, that is, those whose main aim is the pursuit of the world and gratification of their sense organs. They live and die for it rather than spiritual pursuits. Should always make diligent and sincere efforts to try to understand the nature of the pure or true self, and should contemplate and ponder upon the meaning and teachings of Vedanta. By following these paths, the seeker finds Gyan. while adopting the opposite behavior results in an opposite effect. The realization that I is a stranger to the intellect, pran, the mind, body, and ego, but am the Atma, which is pure, enlightened, and pure consciousness. This realization or awareness is called Gyan. This is my conclusion and affirmation. When this is witnessed or experienced in practical terms, it is known as Vigyan. Atma is all complete, self sufficient in all respects, an image of eternal bliss, peace, and tranquility, without decay or destruction, devoid of intellect and other honors, characteristics or attributes, and without subject to any reward or punishment of any deeds done or actions taken by the creature. Though it puts a glow to the body by its own illumination, it remains without any such halo or glow around itself. It is peerless, has the form of truthful wisdom, knowledge, and enlightenment, is without any company, is self illuminated, and is a witness to and for all these facts are established by the virtue of Vigyan. When one becomes aware of the oneness of the Atma with the Paramatma as a result of teaching of a wise moral preceptor like a guru, or self-study of scriptures, Adhyaya, it is then that ignorance and delusions, which is basically avidya, merge with its original source, that is, the Paramatma, together with its instruments of action, that is, a gross body, and its subsidiary sense organs, 5 organs of perception and 5 organs of action, as well as the subtle body consisting of the mind-intellect complex. This stage, when avidya, ignorance, or lack of true knowledge, coalesces with the Paramatma, it's called salvation and ultimate deliverance of the soul of the creature. As for the soul, this is just like a remedy to cure it of all the dirt that has got stuck to it in the course of its long journey through various lives. O Raghunandan, I have told you the essence of what is the meaning of obtaining emancipation and salvation, along with what is Gyan, Vigyan, Vairagya, non-attachment, and Paramatma. Those who are devoid of my sincere devotion, I regard this attainment as very difficult. Just like a person who cannot see any sign or mark with his eyes in the darkness of night and can only see it in the light of the lamp, similarly, only he who has devotion can experience or witness the Atma. Now I shall tell you some practical methods of my bhakti. Listen carefully. To have contact with my devotees, constant service to me and my devotees, to keep fasting on Ekadashi day and other designated occasions, to celebrate my various festivals, to have interest and love for hearing, reading, reciting, and explaining the various divine stories associated with me. Be eager and diligent towards my worship and adoration, and chant my holy name in a group of unison. In this way, those who always follow me, they surely develop unwavering and steady devotion in me. What else is left to be done? Hence, it is certain that those persons who have my devotion can soon get Gyan, Vigyan, and Vairagya. In this manner, according to your query, I have told you everything. That person who concentrates his intellect and mind on these facts attains salvation. Those who have no faith in me should not be explained anything that I have said, while those who are my sincere devotees should purposefully and deliberately be explained and made to understand it. That person who will always read it with faith, conviction, and devotion, shall remove the darkness cast by the cluster of ignorances surrounding him, and he shall be freed or delivered from the shackles of his mundane and trapping illusionary existence. That person who serves me with a focused mind, a pure heart, serenity, and tranquility of soul, with a pure, uncorrupted wisdom and intellect, and at the same time have constant contact with yogis who are my supreme and ardent devotees, is always eager to serve them with sincerity and faith. Emancipation and salvation are under their hands. I always keep myself present in front of the vision of such a person. Except this, there is no other way to have my darshan. With this, we come to the end of Canto 4. Aranya Kand, Canto 5. The demoness Supernakha's episode, slaying of Khar, Dushan, Trishira, etc. Ravana's first response. Lord Shiva said, O Parvati, at that time there used to roam about freely in that dense forest a demoness who was very strong and could assume any form she wished. Once, near the banks of the Gomti river, near Panchvati, she saw the marks of the feet of Sri Ram on the ground, having the signs of the lotus, the vajra, and gourd on them. She was enchanted by them, and overcome by lust and passion, she followed those pug marks and slowly, surreptitiously reached his hermitage. Reaching there, she saw Ramnath, who was as beauteous as the Kamya Cupid, sitting alongside Mata Sita. Being overcome by passion, she said to him, Whose are you? What is your name? Why do you stay in this forest, attired in clothes made of birch and matted hairs? What do you wish to receive, gain, or achieve by staying here? Tell me. I am Supernakha, the sister of King of Demons Ravana. I can assume a beautiful form. I stay with my brother Khar in this forest. The king has granted me the right over his whole forest. I eat hermits who live here. Oh, the exalted orator, I want to know about you, so do tell me about you. Then the Lord replied to her, I am the son of the king of Ayodhya, Dashrath, and my name is Ram. This beautiful lady is my wife, called Sita, while that most handsome and charming youth is my younger brother, Laxmana. O Tribhuvan Sundari, which means one who is the most beautiful in the world of the three worlds. Tell me, what can I do for you? Hearing these words of Sri Ram, Surpanakha, who was bitten by the lust bug, wistfully said, O Sri Ram, come to a mountain cave and enjoy yourself with me. At this time, I am lustful, passionate, and sexually excited, so I cannot leave you who are lotus-eyed. Then Sri Ram indicated towards Sita with an askance glance and said, Oh, the beautiful one, my wife is present. Abandoning her is impossible. While she is alive, how can you live your life burning in the jealousy of having a competitor? My most handsome younger brother, Laxman, is present outside the hermitage. He can be a worthy husband. You should roam and enjoy yourself with him. When Sri Ram had said this, the most fierce demoness Surpanakha, who was overcome by passion, excited by libido, approached Laxman and said, Oh, the beautiful one, obey your brother and become my husband. Let you and me move around together. Don't delay in this. He, that is Lakshmana, replied to her, O Seeker, I am but a humble servant of wise Sri Ram. By making me your husband, you too shall have to become his maidservant. What more sorrowful, humiliating, and insulting thing can it be for you? You be blessed. You should go to him, for he is our Lord. Hearing this, that wicked demoness became peeved and came back to Sri Ram and said menacingly, O Sri Ram, you are fickle minded. Why do you make me run here and there? If Sita is a hurdle, then I'll eat her instantly in front of you. Saying this, she assumed a ferocious form and lunged towards Sita. Then, on the instructions of Sri Ram, Lakshmana swiftly caught her and, using a sword, chopped off her nose and ears. Then, making a terrible noise and drenched in blood, she hurriedly went and fell down in front of Khar, her brother, making a horrible shrieking sound as she fell. Seeing her, Khar said with an astonished and shrill voice, "What is this matter? Oh, which rascal has dared to do this to you, and wish to go in the mouth of death? Just tell me, even if he's as strong as Kal, I shall kill him in a moment." Then the demoness, Surpanakha, said to him, "Sri Ram, along with Sita and Lakshmana, stay on the banks of river Godavari in order to make the Dandak forest fearless. At his instigation, his brother Lakshmana has made me in this horrible condition. If you have honor and dignity of your clan, and if you are brave, then you should kill those two enemies. You must eat those two who are wild and intoxicated, while I shall drink their blood. Otherwise, I shall die of shame and go to hell." Hearing these words of Surpanakha, Kar was furious with anger and proceeded from there in haste. He sent a ferocious and terrible army of 14,000 demons to kill Sri Ram. Kar, Dushan, and Trishira armed themselves with different weapons and reached the spot where Sri Ram was. Hearing the tumult caused by their arrival, Sri Ram said to Laxman, "There is a great noise. It appears that the demons are positively coming. It is certain that there will be a fierce battle between them and me today. So, oh, the most beautiful, valorous, strong, you should take Sita with you and go secure her inside some mountain cave. I wish to slay all these ferocious demons today. I tell you, on oath, don't tell her anything on this subject." Lakshman obediently replied, "As you please," and took Mata Sita to a mountain cave. Then Sri Ram tied his waistcloth, that is, readied himself, took the stern, merciless, and formidable hard bow and 2 quivers full of imperishable arrows and became ready for battle. Then the demons came there and began to shower various weapons and armament, stones, boulders, and trees on Sri Ram. Sri Ram sliced and battered those weapons into minute pieces in a moment as if by magic. After that, having killed those demons by shooting thousands of arrows, he also slayed Kar, Dushan, and Trishira. In this manner, the most exalted Raghu slayed all those demons in half a prahar, that is 1.5 hours. Then Lakshmana brought Sita out of the cave and handed her over to Sri Ram. At that time, he, that is Lakshmana, was very astonished on seeing all the dead demons. Janak's daughter Sita embraced her husband with a most delighted face and moved her hands affectionately and with divine healing powers on the wounds inflicted on his body by the arms used by the demons to attack him. Seeing all those demons, who were among the best in their clan, dead, Surpanakha, the sister of the demon king Ravana, rushed to Lanka and fell on the ground at his feet, weeping and wailing. Seeing his sister so terrified and perplexed, Ravana inquired, "O daughter, stand up. Do tell me who has dared to deform you. O gentle and honorable lady, is this the work of Indra? Or who among Yam, that is the god of death, Varun, god of water, or Kuber, God's treasurer, has done it? Tell me. I shall reduce him to ashes in a moment." Then the demoness replied, admonishing and rebuking him, "You are very indulgent, haughty, and a foolish blockhead. You are a drunkard, infatuated, and dominated by a woman." That is, she was insinuating that he's a womanizer. and appear important in all matters. You do not have the so called four eyes, that is, she means in the form of spies and informers. Then how can you remain a king? Khar has been killed in the battle with Dushan and Trishira, along with 14,000 of the best of the demon army, have been killed by the one who is an enemy of the demons or the asuras, that is Sri Ram, in an instant. The whole inhabited area of the forest has been liberated from demons and made freely accessible and habitable for the hermits and sages by him. In spite of such a havoc taking place in your realm, you are still unaware of it? That is why I say you are a total blockhead and an idiot. Ravana retorted, "Oh, tell me who that Ram is. Why and how has he killed those demons? Tell me everything in detail. I will chop off the root cause of it all." Surpanakha said poignantly, "One day I was going from my usual habitat to the banks of river Gomti, where there is an ancient hermitage inhabited by hermits, ascetics and sages. The place is called Panchvati. In that hermitage I saw Sri Ram, the lotus-eyed one, who was attired in matted hair and clothes made of birch, holding a bow and arrow, and who is a treasury of beauty. His younger brother is as beautiful, handsome, charming, and attractive as Sri Ram, and his broad-eyed wife is also comparable to goddess Lakshmi herself in beauty and charm. O king among the gods, Gandharvas, Nagas, that is the legendary serpents who rule the subterranean world and have near human forms, and humans, etc., a woman as beautiful and enchanting as that lady has never been heard of or seen anywhere among them. That auspicious and virtuous lady illuminates the whole forest by her beauty, radiance, and glow. O Anag, that is the pure one, I had tried to bring her here to make her your wife, at which attempt of mine, Sri Ram's brother, Laxman, had chopped off my nose. And then, not satisfied by that, and to add insult to injury, at the behest of Sri Ram, the most strong Laxman dismembered my ears as well. Then I went away gravely lamenting and weeping to Khar. Note, it should be understood that the falsehood has been used by Supernakha to instigate and incite Ravana. This, along with Manthara's instigation of Kaikeyi at Ayodhya, are but two outstanding examples of how misinformation or distortion of facts can subvert the mind of even the most wisest persons and cause horrible consequences. The moral is to verify the facts first hand before jumping to conclusions, and more dangerously, to act upon these twisted, self-serving, spiced-up information. Moving on. He, that is Khar, immediately went with his demon commanders Dushan and Trishira and took up battle with Sri Ram. But that valorous one destroyed the huge, invincible, and always victorious demons in a flash. It appears to me that if Sri Ram firmly decides, he can turn the Triloki into ashes in a second. But by the way, if his woman Sita becomes your wife, then your life will be deemed to be rewarded and fortunate. Hence, O King of Kings, make an effort so that Sita, who is lotus-eyed and the only beauty in the whole world, becomes dearest to your heart. O Lord, you cannot stand physically in front of him. So, in order to accomplish this task, you will have to adopt some deceit and clever tact to divert his attention in order to get her. Hearing all this, the demon king Ravana honored his sister Surpanakha with pleasant, sweet words and gifts, consoled and reassured her, and then entered his royal palace. But he could not sleep that night due to worries and perturbedness. During the night, he pondered over the matter and debated to himself. It is very surprising and a strange occurrence that a lonely, ordinary human born in Raghu's clan, Sri Ram, can ever slay my brother Khar, who was endowed with immense strength, valor, and bravery, along with his ace army. Or else it appears that he is a personification of Paramatma himself, who has, on the prayers of Brahma in some previous time, incarnated himself in a human form in Raghu's clan to kill me along with my army, using an army of Vanars for this purpose. If I am indeed killed by Paramatma himself, then surely enough I shall enjoy the kingdom of heaven. Otherwise, I will be enjoying the kingdom of the demons for a long time to come. I stand to gain both the ways. Therefore, I will certainly go to Sri Ram. Ravana, who was a king of the whole demon race, the Asura clan, contemplated over the matter thus, and realizing that Sri Ram was a real, true personification of Paramatma Sri Hari himself, he decided that he will attain the Lord even with enmity, ill will, and maliciousness because of him. For him to do it with bhakti and other noble pursuits such as righteousness and spiritualism is very difficult, and the Lord cannot be easily pleased with him by the latter method of bhakti. So here, to understand these verses, it's basically show the respect with which he kept Sita. This proves that though outwardly Ravana had played his role as a ferocious tyrant and a ruthless, cruel, and belligerent demon, internally he was at peace with himself, sure in the conviction that finally his redemption, emancipation, and salvation was at hand, and that too in a manner befitting his mental temperament and tendencies of a demon. The deliverance for which mystics, ascetic sages, and seers and saints had to do so much austerities and penances was available to him virtually on a platter without the incumbent sufferings and hardships. Further, the Lord is attainable by honest and sincere confession and not by deception, and Ravana wins the game hands down on this count. So something to ponder upon from the Yajurveda and the Rigveda. Let our mind, intellect, heart be ever involved in the worship of the Lord. Let us be diligent towards experiencing the realization of the Lord. Even as an ocean is crossed with a ship, let the Lord take us across the ocean like world for our welfare and good. Let our sins be destroyed. With that, we come to the end of Canto 5. Aranya Kand. Canto 6. Ravana approaches Marich. Lord Shiva said, O Parvati, making up his mind during the night, when the day broke, the wise Ravana boarded a chariot, and having decided on a course of action, he went to the residence of Marich on the other shore of the ocean. There, Marich, attired like a hermit with matted lock of hairs and clothes made of birch, was contemplating on the Nirgun Brahman, who illuminates nature. When he woke up from his contemplative, meditative posture, he found Ravana standing in front of him in his dwelling. When Marich saw Ravana, he hastily stood up, embraced him, duly welcomed and worshipped him in the traditional way as an honored guest, by offering oblations, refreshments, etc. And when Ravana was comfortably seated, Marich asked, O Ravana, you have come with a single chariot, and your mind appears to be deeply disturbed and worried on some subject. If it is not a secret, do tell me about it. O King of Kings, if I do not have to commit a sin, and if it is righteous, proper, and in accordance with the law, then tell me. I shall surely do that work for you, which is dear to you. Ravana replied, It is said that King Dasharath is the ruler of Ayodhya, and his eldest son is the richest in virtue and righteousness. He is called Ram. Dasharath has sent that son, who is dear to the hermit and sages, to the forest along with his wife and younger brother Laxmana. Presently, he stays in the Panchvati hermitage in the dense, wild forest called Dandakaranya. I've heard that his wife, the broad-eyed Sita, is able to charm the whole of the three worlds by her bewitching beauty. That Ram,
has killed my most valorous, mighty, and innocent demons along with my brother Khar. He stays in that forest, happily and fearlessly. My sister, Surpanakha, had also not committed any misconduct and was innocent. But that rascal cut off her nose and ears and now fearlessly lives in that forest unchallenged. Hence, by your help, I intend to bring his dearest wife Sita when Sri Ram is not in that forest. You should become a decoy deer and take Sri Ram and Laxman far away from the hermitage on some pretext. Just at that opportune time, I shall steal her, which he meant kidnap. In this manner, after helping me in my job, you can come back to your residence here as before. Hearing Ravana say this thing, Marich was stunned with astonishment. He said, O Ravana, who has told you this thing which is completely devastating and ruinous for you? Anyone who wants to destroy you in this manner, surely he is your enemy and worthy of being killed. O Ravana, when I remember the valor of Sri Ram's adolescent days, when he had come to protect the fire sacrifice of sage Vishwamitra, that is, when I tried to interfere, he had thrown me, that is, flung me by a single arrow to a distance of 100 yojanas. It's approximately 800 miles on the shore of an ocean. Ever since that time, I'm terrified. That incident keeps on recurring in my memory, and I imagine Sri Ram everywhere. It's almost a traumatic hallucination for me. One day, remembering my old enmity with him, I went to the Dandakaranya forest disguised as a deer with sharp horns and mixed myself with other such deer. When I hastily moved forward with the intention to kill Raghav, along with the daughter of Janak and Lakshman, he had shot a single arrow at me when he saw me. O King of Demons, I was pierced by it and I spun in the sky before falling in the ocean. I am so scared and terrified since then that I live in this place which makes me feel fearless and comfortable. When the words starting with the letter Ra, such as Raj, Ratna, Ramani, Rath, fall in my ears, I get terribly scared, so much so that I remain afraid of anything of comfort and pleasure, and always keep on remembering Ram, though out of fear. Scared stiff by the suspicion that Sri Ram might come here also, I have forsaken all outside work. When I sleep during the night, I keep on remembering Sri Ram. In this manner, while seeing Raghav in my dreams, when I wake up from my sleep, I am unable to forget him. Hence, O Ravana, you too should abandon your stubbornness regarding Sri Ram and drop the matter here and go home. In this way, you will be able to protect your ancient demon race from destruction. Everything is ruined even by remembering him. Pay heed to what I say for your own welfare and well being. You must abandon your animosity with Raghav and worship and adore him with devotion and dedication because Raghunandan is very merciful and compassionate. I have heard all these things from the mouth of sages and hermits that during the Satyug, the Parmeshwar Sri Hari had asked Brahma, when the latter had prayed to the former to tell him what his desire was, and it shall be fulfilled, then Brahma had replied, O the lotus-eyed one, manifest yourself soon on the earth as a human being in the form of Dashrath's son, Ram, and slay Ravana, who has become inimical to the gods. Hence, you must believe me, Sri Ram is not an ordinary human. He is the truthful personification of the indefinable, attributeless, limitless, imperishable entity Sri Narayan himself. He has assumed a form to remove the burden of the earth and has therefore come to the forest fearlessly with this purpose in mind. Hence, oh dear, you shall gladly return home without any further doubting. Hearing these words of the same advice given by Marich, Ravana became extremely peeved and he asserted, if Paramatma has indeed himself come in the form of Sri Ram, assuming a human body on the express prayers of Brahma to kill me, then he is sure to do it soon, because the Lord God is true to his words. Therefore, I will definitely make efforts to bring Sita away from Raghav, that is Sri Ram, very soon. O the brave one, Marich, if I am killed at his hands in battle, I shall attain the highest stature. And on the contrary, if I am able to kill Sri Ram in the battlefield, I shall get Sita without any fear or hindrance. Hence, O the most lucky and fortunate one, get up, assume the form of a strange deer, and take Sri Ram and Laxman far away from the hermitage soon, and then return back to your hermitage and live happily as you have been doing now. If you try to scare me off by saying anything more, then be certain that I shall kill you here instantly with this sword. Hearing his threatening words, Marich thought to himself that he has very little choice. If I am killed at the hands of Raghav, then I shall be able to cross this ocean of the world. But if this wicked rascal kills me, then I shall have to fall into hell. Deciding to get killed at the hands of Sri Ram, as a matter of choice, he got up hastily and said to Ravana, O king, O lord, I shall obey your orders. Saying this, he boarded the chariot with Ravana and came to Sri Ram's hermitage at Panchvati. There, he assumed the form of a strange and beautiful deer with silvery spots on a pure golden skin. Its horns were gem-studded, the hoofs were studded with jewels, and its eyes were like a blue sapphire. In this way, that strange and majestic deer, with an electric-like dazzle and fascinating countenance, began roaming near the hermitage of Sri Ram within sight of Sita. In one moment he pranced and bounced playfully, and in another he came and stood motionless, and again he ran away as if out of fear. In this manner, that impostor, Marich, a shapeshifter, assumed a deceitful form of a decoy deer and roamed about playfully trying to attract Sita's attention. Both Ravana and Marich knew very well that Sri Ram was not an ordinary prince, as is very evident by verse number 30 and 36 earlier. So, it was a conscious decision on their part to create willful enmity with the Lord as a means of their liberation from the body of a demon and attain emancipation and salvation. With that, we come to the end of Canto 6. Aranya Kand, Canto 7, Slaying of Marich and Sita's Abduction. Lord Shiva said, O Parvati, here, becoming aware of all the conspiracies of Ravana, Sri Ram advised Sita when they were alone. O Sita, listen to what I have to tell you. O the auspicious one, Ravana will come to you disguised as a mendicant. Hence, by my orders, you must enter the holy fire, leaving behind your look-alike shadow in this hut. Stay there in the fire in an invisible form for 1 year. After that, after the killing of Ravana, you shall get back to me once again. Note, this establishes that the period of Sita's separation from Sri Ram was for 1 year. Further, it was she, in an invisible, intangible form in her capacity as the all-powerful, dynamic, all-engulfing infinite energy residing in the fire that when ignited by Hanuman at Lanka was responsible for the devastation of the city. Hearing these words of Sri Ram, Mata Sita did as she was told. She became invisible in fire, leaving behind a shadow Sita. Then that Maya, the illusionary Sita, saw that Maya deer, the illusionary deer, come to Sri Ram and smilingly, politely said to him, O Sri Ram, look at this golden deer which is adorned by gems and jewels. Ah, what marvelous spots are there on this body, and how fearlessly it's wandering and frolicking here. O Lord, tie it and bring it to me. Let it be my playmate. Again, another side note. Not until the time Maya Sita had made her appearance, the deer could not succeed in its attempts to attract the original Sita. The lesson drawn is that Maya attracts Maya. If we are free from Maya, this delusionary and imaginary, artificial world will automatically lose its charm and sheen for us. Sita had not asked Sri Ram to kill the deer, as is widely believed, but only asked him to bring it alive. Moving on to Stotra 7. Then he, that is Sri Ram, said, "All right," picked up his bow and said to Laxman while departing, "O Lakshmana, you must make all efforts to protect my dearest Sita. Most ferocious, elusive, and deceptive demons are roaming in the forest. Hence, you should be very alert and careful in protecting the faultless and holy Sita." Then Lakshmana replied to Sri Ram, "O Lord, this is Marich in the disguise of a deer. There is no doubt about it, because where is such a strange deer in the entire existence?" Again, a side note. Lakshmana was aware that this is a ploy by Marich because he had the experience of him trying to kill him previously in the forest as a deer. Sri Ram replied, "If he is Marich, then there is no doubt that I shall kill him. And if he is an ordinary deer, I shall bring him to please Sita. I shall swiftly go and soon tie this deer, and bring it here. Meanwhile, you should be alert. Keep a vigilant eye and protect Sita." The Maya, which embodies the delusionary power of the Lord, that enchants and captivates the whole world by its fascinating, maverick, and powerful spell, which is itself dependent or subservient to Lord Sri Ram, that same person ran behind pursuing a illusionary Maya deer. In spite of being faultless, eternal, measureless, pure consciousness, as well as all-pervading, omnipresent, complete Lord, he rushed behind that deer. This goes to prove the truth of the statement that Lord Hari is very dear, merciful, compassionate, munificent, and benevolent to his devotees. So, as a side note, how? Because it was the desire of Marich to get killed at the hands of Sri Ram, and it was the wish of Ravana that Marich should take Sri Ram far away from the dwelling so that he can abduct Sita. Despite the fact that Sri Ram knew that he will have to suffer a lot of hardship due to this single incident, he had allowed it to happen. That is why he is called a Bhakta Vatsala. Moving on to Stotra 14. He knew everything. In spite of that, he went behind the deer pursuing it just in order to please Sita. Otherwise, what had Sri Ram, who is fully contented, without any wants or desires, is enlightened, self-realized, and most wise, had to do with a deer or a woman? That deceptive deer appeared near one moment and went far away and disappeared the next. It reappeared again at a great distance. In this manner, appearing and disappearing repeatedly, he took Sri Ram very far away. Then, being certain that this is a demon and not an ordinary deer, Sri Ram pierced him with a single arrow. Immediately on being shot, Marich fell on the ground, assumed his original form of a demon, with blood spilling out from his mouth. That blood-drinking demon, or in other words, a vampire, fell to the ground, crying aloud in the voice mimicking that of Sri Ram. "Oh, the valorous Laxman, I am killed. Am in danger. Save me immediately." Even the ignorant ones who remember him, the Lord Sri Ram, at the time of death become one with him. That is, they merge their soul with the supreme soul of the Lord, which is called attainment of emancipation and salvation. To die at the hands of that Hari while looking at him, What to say of the good luck and fortunes of such a demon? The effulgence of this soul, representing the luminous, pure conscious element present in the body, which is called Atma, emerged from his body and instantly entered Sri Ram. The gods were very astonished and bewildered at this spectacle. Indeed, they were. It's such an irony that demons such as Marich, Ravana, and Kumbhakarna had their souls merging into Sri Ram at the end of their lives, while sages, seers, mystics on this earth, and their exalted counterparts, the gods in heavens, never had this privilege. Mere boast of spirituality will not please the Lord. Even lowly um, Sabari, the vulture, Jatau, had their share of salvation, but exalted ones, except a few, such as the Sutikshan, remained what they were. They said, "This cruel demon, who was a killer of hermits, had done so many sinful, unrighteous deeds, and then attained such an auspicious end? Without doubt, it is due to the benevolence, benediction, and munificence, as well as profound and majestic glory of Raghav. Having been shot by Sri Ram's arrows on two previous occasions, he had already forsaken his household and wealth out of fear, and was always engrossed in remembering Sri Ram. By constantly remembering Sri Ram in his heart, all his sins, misdemeanors, and unrighteousness were destroyed, while at the end he died looking at Lord and was killed by his hands. This is why he has attained Sri Ram. Those who leave their bodies remembering Sri Ram, whether they are Brahmins or demons, whether they are sinful or righteous, they are sure to attain the supreme stature of being one with the Lord." As a side note, verses 21 to 24, the ones that we were reading right now, praise the gods for Marich. To their credit, they acknowledged that Marich had indeed become sinless by remembering Sri Ram. No wonder in that all those who come in contact with the Lord do become sinless. But how many of them merged in him? Even sage Sharbhanga died looking at Sri Ram, but he went to heaven and did not merge his soul in the Lord, although he was standing in front of the former. Moving on. Saying this to each other, the gods went to heaven. Then Sri Ram began to ponder, why has this lowly demon died, calling out, "O Laxman," in my voice? What will happen to Sita when she hears a voice like that of mine? Worrying in this way, Sri Ram started on his way back to his hermitage from a great distance. Here, Sita heard the voice of evil Marich mimicking Sri Ram and became greatly afraid about his welfare. And overcome with mental agitations and worries, she said to Laxman, "O Lakshmana, you must go immediately. Your brother is in danger and is being tormented by the demons. Don't you hear your brother's voice calling out, 'O Lakshmana'?" Lakshman replied, "O goddess, these words are not of Sri Ram. Some demon surely has said them while dying. Sri Ram, who can destroy the Triloki, all of the three worlds, in an instant if he gets angry. How can that Lord speak in such miserable, pitiful, and distressed words?" Then Sita became angry and admonished Lakshman, saying with tearful eyes, "O Lakshman, do you want to see your brother in trouble? Oh, you evil-minded one, it looks like Bharat, who wants the destruction of Sri Ram, has sent you. Have you come to take me away after Sri Ram is destroyed? But you shall not get hold of me. Look, I shall die now. Sri Ram does not know that you are a eager person here to kidnap his wife. I cannot touch either you or Bharat or anyone else in this world except Sri Ram." Saying this, she started beating her chest with her hands and wept. Hearing such reprehensive, stern, scornful, and accusatory words from her, Lakshmana was aghast and overwhelmed with anguish and anger. He closed his ears in disgust with his hands. He said disdainfully, O Chandi, an epithet for a woman in anger. Shame to you that you say such abhorrible words to me. This will cause your own destruction. Saying this, Laxman put her in the care of the patron goddesses of the forest, and being immensely anguished, perturbed, peeved, and remorseful, he proceeded reluctantly and slowly to where Sri Ram was. Just at that time, seeing an opportune moment, Ravana assumed the form of a mendicant, complete with his staff and kamandala, and came to Sita. She bowed to him as soon as she saw a mendicant, worshipped him with due devotion, welcomed him by offering refreshments of roots, stems, and fruits, and said, O hermit, eat these fruits and make yourself comfortable. My husband will be coming back in a short while. If you wish, wait for some more time. He can show some greater respect to you. A note here, verses 31 to 36, the ones that we were reading, shows the effects of anger and false accusations. But we must remember that this is not the original Sita speaking. She was concealed in the fire. It is her deceptive, shadowy Maya who speaks to Laxman. The lesson to draw is that Maya forcefully leads us astray from our chosen path and duty, and it fills us with agitations and anguish, anger and frustration, leading to reckless behavior and our ruin. Moving on, Ravana, who was in the disguise of a mendicant, said, "Oh, the lotus-eyed one, who are you? Who is your husband? Oh, the faultless, sinless one. Why do you live in this forest inhabited by demons? Oh, the auspicious one. Tell me all this, then I shall also tell you about myself." Sita said, "O mendicant, Sri Dasharatha, the great king, was the ruler of Ayodhya. His eldest son is Sri Ram, who possesses all the good characters and virtues. I, Sita, the daughter of Janaka, am his wife. His younger brother is Lakshmana. He is very fond of his brother. Sri Ram, along with us too, have come to live in Dandakaranya for 14 years on the orders of his father. Now, I want to know about you. You should also tell me about yourself." Mendicant replied, "I am Ravana, the king of demons and the son of Vishrava of the Pulastya clan, or a great grandson of the Pulastya. I learned about you and I yearn to possess you. Hence, I have come here to take you with me to my capital at Lanka. What will you get from that Ram who is attired as a hermit? Have affection and love for me and avoid all the hardships associated with this forest. Instead, enjoy various types of comforts and pleasures with me." Hearing these words of Ravana, Sita became a little scared and said to him, "If you say such things to me, Raghav will destroy you. Just wait a little while. Sri Ram shall be coming soon with his younger brother, who can use force with me. It's impossible that a rabbit uses such force against a lioness. Being pierced and torn to pieces, you'll soon sleep on the surface of the earth." Hearing such words of Sita, Ravana became extremely agitated with anger and showed her his colossus mountainous form, which had 10 heads and 20 arms, and who had the fearful and awe-inspiring countenance resembling that of a black cloud. Seeing that fearful, terrible form, the patron goddesses and the gods of the forest became immensely scared. Perhaps this is the reason why the forest goddesses, whom Laxman had entrusted the security of Sita, did not react and try to protect her. Then Ravana used his nails to dig and scoop up the earth beneath Sita and lifted it in his hands along with her, put it on his chariot, and sped away through the path of the sky. At that time, Sita became horrified and wept bitterly, wailing aloud, O Ram, O Lakshmana. Sita became terribly frightened and looked pitifully and helplessly at the ground below. Hearing these loud wailings of Sita for help, Jatayu, the best among vultures, who had a sharp beak, got up from the summit of the mountain and said, Oh, stop you! Like the dog which surreptitiously takes away or steals Purodash, material of the fire sacrifice. Who are you, taking away the wife of the Lord of the Lokas from this lonely, dense forest in front of me? Now, as a side note, Ravana had tried to rape two apsaras or celestial damsels called Punjiksthala and Rambha, and was cursed by a Brahma and Nal Kuber, son of Kuber, respectively, that if he tried to force himself upon any woman against her wishes in future, his head will be split in 100 pieces. This is the reason why Ravana did not touch Sita, and in order to abduct her, scooped up the ground from underneath her feet. Saying this, Jatayu used his sharp beaks to break his chariot to smithereens, used his claws to kill the horses, and cut Ravana's bow to pieces. Then Ravana left Sita aside and took out his sword, and out of frustration cut off the wings of Jatayu. With the wings chopped off, the poor Jatayu became helpless and fell to the ground almost half dead. Then Ravana put Sita in a second chariot, that's a reserve chariot, and sped off. So, with this note, this verse shows that he had another standby chariot ready for contingencies. How come he had two chariots? When he had visited Marich, he had brought along two chariots, one for himself and the other for Marich. But since Marich boarded the chariot along with him, the other chariot was towed along for emergencies. Now, moving on. At that time, finding no one to save her, Sita repeatedly called out to Sri Ram, weeping and wailing woefully, O Sri Ram, O the Lord of the world, don't you see this distressed and tormented me? O Raghav, your wife is being taken away forcefully by a demon. You must liberate her. O great Lakshmana, protect me. Who am the culprit? That is, I am guilty of casting aspersions on you and on your character, ridiculing you and forcing you to abandon me alone in the forest. It is my fault that I am being kidnapped. That is why I call myself a culprit. O brother-in-law, I had accused you of having ill intentions against me and Sri Ram. Literally shot scathing verbal acrimonious arrows at you, accusing you of many things which I regret now. So forgive me. Seeing Sita wailing and lamenting like this and fearing that Sri Ram would hear her and arrive soon, Ravana moved speedily with great haste as fast as the wind. In this manner, while going through the sky and looking downwards, the lotus-eyed Sita saw 5 monkeys sitting on the top of a mountain, that is Rishyamukh. Seeing them, she tore off her scarf into pieces, tied her ornaments in them with knots, and threw them down one by one on the mountain with the idea that these will tell Sri Ram about her whereabouts. Eventually, Ravana crossed the ocean and reached Lanka. There, in his palace, he placed her in a secluded place called Ashokvan. Keeping her surrounded by demonesses, he protected her as if she was his mother. So, a side note here as well. Sita must have thrown at least 2 to 3 packets down, if not more. This was to help Sri Ram identify or chart the direction in which she was flying, because by drawing a straight line between any 2 points, it would be easy for Sri Ram to extend it to Lanka, or the general direction in which Ravana took her. It is based on simple geometry. Mentally, Ravana revered her as his mother, but outwardly, he had to play his role in the drama of which he was a villain, as much as Sri Ram played his role as a hero, in spite of him knowing everything beforehand, even asserting that being the Supreme Lord, he has no enmity or malice towards anyone. He sustained or took care of her with the same reverential feeling as that of a mother. At that place, Sita, who had become very weak, emaciated, forlorn, and miserably wretched, abandoned all her ornamentations. She was withered in body and was tormented. She spent her days remorsefully lamenting, saying, O Ram, continuously. Now, something to keep in mind here. Sita was undergoing immense mental distress and abject sense of hopelessness, which was more devastating for her health than any physical torture. Since Ravana had revered her as a mother, the chances of any physical torture were remote. She became emaciated and weak due to mental agonies and worries. Now, with that, we come to the end of Canto 7. Aranya Kand, Canto 8, Sri Ram's Lamentations and Meeting with Jatau. Lord Shiva said, O Parvati, here when Sri Ram had killed the deceptive impostor demon Marich and had turned back to return to his hermitage, he saw Laxman coming towards him from a distance. He had a remorseful and regretful face. The most wise Raghav thought to himself, Laxman does not know that I have made an illusionary Sita. I know it, but still I shall conceal this fact from Laxman and lament like an ordinary human. If I show dispassion and detachment, haplessness and helplessness or indifference, and sit quietly in my hut, then how can the wherewithals to kill the crores of demons be found? If, on the contrary, I pretend to be overcome with grief for her and lament woefully like a lustful, passionate person, then I shall have an excuse to go by turn in search of Sita and reach Ravana, kill him along with his compatriots, relatives, and companions. Retrieve Sita, who has been entrusted to the fire, and then proceed back to Ayodhya. I have taken a human form on the prayers of Brahma, hence I shall stay on this earth and behave like an ordinary human being. By doing this, some devotees who are devotedly inclined towards me and listen to the divine stories of my illusionary form will get salvation without efforts. Deciding thus, he looked at Laxman and said, O Lakshmana, how and why did you come here, leaving behind my beloved Sita alone? Now by this time, the demons must have either stolen her or eaten her up. Then Lakshmana wept and submitted with folded hand that Sita had made serious allegations against him. Hearing the words of the demon calling out, Ah, Lakshman, in your voice, Sita told me to come to your help immediately. Then I tried to explain the situation to her as she wept, O goddess, these are not the words of Sri Ram, but the words of a demon. O the auspicious one with a pleasant, subtle smile, you should not worry. In spite of my efforts to reassure her, Sadhvi, Sita hurled such scornful, accusation-filled, reprehensible words at me, which are unworthy to be repeated in front of you. So I shut my ears in disgust and disdainfully came from there to see you. At this, Sri Ram said, O Lakshmana, it's all right, but still you have not done the right thing. By believing the words of a woman and leaving the auspicious Sita alone, now there is no doubt that either the demons have stolen her or have eaten her up. Worrying in this manner, Sri Ram speedily came back to his hermitage, and not finding Sita there, he became very dismayed and began lamenting remorsefully. Oh dear, you are not visible in the hermitage today. Where have you gone? Or is it that you have hidden somewhere to play tricks on me? Lamenting woefully in this manner, he searched for her around the forest, but could not find her. Then he said, O the patron goddesses of the forest, tell me, where is my dear wife Sita? O dear birds and trees, you do show me beloved Sita. Searching and lamenting thus, Sri Ram could not see Sita anywhere. Raghunandan, that is Sri Ram, in spite of being wise and all knowing, seems to be pursuing an elusive and impostering deer. In spite of being an embodiment of total bliss, peace, and tranquility, he mourned and grieved for Sita. In spite of being unmoving, steady, stable, and unwavering, he ran around here and there in search of her. In spite of being devoid of all attractions, endearments, or affections towards anyone, being without any ego, pride, arrogance, or haughtiness, and being an embodiment of eternal, imperishable, supreme bliss, he most remorsefully wailed, saying, O Sita, and O my dearest. In this manner, following his own decision to act like an ordinary human being, engulfed by Maya, the most exalted Raghu appears to be infatuated and wistful like an ignorant and lustful man in spite of being unattached to and detached from all. But those who have knowledge of the essential truth, who are aware of the true form of things, or in short are enlightened and wise, do not have any doubt and suspicion about it. Searching for Sita in the entire forest along with Lakshmana, Sri Ram found the broken part of the chariot, broken ceremonial umbrellas, bow, and wooden paths laying scattered on the ground. Seeing them, he said to Lakshman, O Lakshmana, look, it appears that while Sita was being taken away by her abductor, some other man has defeated the first one in a duel and has taken Sita away. After going some distance, he saw a huge mountain like body soaked in blood. Sri Ram said, Look, without doubt, this is the one who has eaten up the auspicious to look at Sita, felt fully satisfied, and is sleeping here alone. I will kill this demon immediately. O Raghunandan, bring my bow and arrow quickly. Hearing these words of Sri Ram, Jatayu was appalled and terrified. He said, I am already dying due to my deeds. You be blessed. You do not have to kill me. I am Jatayu. I had pursued Ravana, who was taking your wife away hastily. O the crusher of enemies, I had a duel with him, and I was able to destroy his chariot, horses, and bow. But I was no match for him, and was mortally wounded by him. This is why I am laying here. O Jagannath, Lord of the world, look at me, the wretched, lowly, and sinful creature. I want to die now. Hearing this, Raghav went close to Jatayu and found him close to death. He was in a very precarious, miserable, and pitiable condition. When Sri Ram filled his eyes with tears of mercy and sympathy, massaged Jatayu's body with his hands, and said, O Jatayu, say, who has taken away my sweet-faced wife? You have died for my sake. Hence, surely you are my dear friend. Vomiting blood, Jatayu spoke with a faltering voice. O Sri Ram, the most valorous and renowned king of the demons, Ravana has taken away the daughter of the king of Mithila, Mata Sita, in the south direction. I do not have the strength left in me to speak more. I want to die. That is, my soul wants to leave my mortal body immediately in front of you. O Sri Ram, it is my great fortune that I have been able to see you at the time of my death. O the sinless, pure, and almighty one, you are Lord Vishnu, the Paramatma disguised in the form of a lowly human being. O the exalted Raghu, though I have found liberation by merely having your holy sight, you still must touch me with your hands. Then I shall go to the highest stature attainable by a soul. Saying all right, Sri Ram smiled and touched his body with his hands. Then Jatayu's soul exited from his body, and it fell to the ground dead. Sri Ram mourned for him with tearful eyes, as if he were his own kin, then asked Lakshmana to bring firewood and did Jatayu's last rites, that is, cremated him with his own hands. Something to note, deciding to do his shraddh, that is, after death, homage rituals befitting his birth as a cadaver-eating vulture, Sri Ram made the following arrangement. Both Sri Ram and Lakshmana were equally sorry and grieved at the death of Jatayu, and they took a bath to purify themselves before performing the Shraddh ceremony. Thereafter, they went and hunted some prey and cut their flesh into small pieces. They then made separate heaps of those pieces of meat at a place covered with grass and which had a water hole resembling an oasis, as a means of offering sacrifices for atonement of sins for the departed soul. This was then eaten by other flesh-eating birds, such as vultures as well as other compatriots of Jatayu. That is, as a feast to mark the Shraddh ceremony. And this ritual gave immense contentment to all the birds as well as to the king of the birds, Jatayu. That is, it gave peace to his soul. Another side note, Jatayu was the one figure in the whole of Ramayana whose Shraddh ceremony or religious rites performed after the death of a near relative or kin was done so elaborately by Sri Ram. The other was Sabari and Sri Ram's father Dashrath at Chitrakoot. Sri Ram had to do it for Dashrath as a matter of routine, but to do it for a cadaver-eating Jatayu, who was a vulture by birth, is a marvel. This is why he offered flesh or meat to perform the Shraddh ceremony, because the food offered during the Shraddh feast should be like the one usually eaten by the person who has died. While doing so, Sri Ram did not hesitate a moment that it is unconventional for a man to perform the cremation rites of a lowly vulture. This shows that Sri Ram is very munificent, merciful, magnanimous, benevolent, and graceful. Moving on. Stotra 40. Raghav, Sri Ram told Jatayu, "Go to my exalted abode or attain the exalted stature of emancipation and achieve oneness with me." After that, he assumed a radiant divine form, that is Jatayu, and boarded a heavenly chariot which was illuminated like a sun. At that time, wearing a pitambar, bearing a conch, discus, mace, lotus, a crown, and other excellent ornaments, he, that is Jatayu, was illuminating in all the directions with a divine light effusing from his body. 4 servers of Lord Vishnu, attired similarly, were worshipping him like yogis were praying to him. Then he hastily folded his hands and, addressing Raghunandan, Sri Ram, he began to pray earnestly as follows. Jatayu said, or prayed, "I always and constantly bow most reverentially before Sri Ramchandra, who has immeasurable virtues and good characteristics, who is boundless, who is the original cause of existence and the ultimate annihilation of the universe, who is an embodiment of supreme bliss and tranquility and peace, and is the most exalted Paramatma. I always bow reverentially in front of Sri Ram, who is an embodiment of limitless bliss, peace, and tranquility, and is the object of affectionate, sideways glances of Lakshmi, who is the remover of the sorrows and tribulations of the Lord of gods, Indra, as well as the 4-headed Lord, that is Brahma, who is the best among humans and bestows boons, and who holds a bow and arrow in his hands. I bow reverentially at the holy feet of Raghunandan, who is the most beautiful, captivating, and astoundingly charming in the whole of the 3 worlds, who is worthy of praise and honor by all, is as splendorous as 100 suns, who bestows all the desired fruits, who constantly day and night give shelter in his holy feet to those who seek it, and who reside in their affectionate and lovable hearts. I bow reverentially at the holy feet of Hari, whose name is like a wildfire for the forest-like world, who is a revered god for even Lord Shiva and other gods, who is the crusher of crores of demons and their kings, who is dark complexioned like the river Yamuna and is most merciful and compassionate. I take the shelter, refuge in the holy feet of Raghunandan and bow reverentially to him who is constantly far away from those who are regularly infatuated with this mundane world, while he is always visible to sages, seers, hermits, and other exalted and holy ones who are detached to this world, and whose feet are like a ship to take one across the ocean of this mundane, delusionary, ensnaring world. I bow reverentially to Sri Raghunayak, who resides in the temple like heart of Lord Shiva and Parvati, and is their well wisher, whose characters, worldly as well as divine stories, and general demeanors are most pleasant and enchanting, whose holy feet are served by both the most exalted gods and the king of demons, and who is a bestower of boons even to the gods. I bow reverentially before the lotus-eyed Raghubar, Sri Ram, who is being constantly served by those who keep far away from the wealth, property, and women of others, while feeling glad at their virtues, excellence, goodness, glory, prosperity, well beings, and success, and who are always eager for their welfare and well being. I bow reverentially to the great Guru of Lord Shiva, that is Sri Raghupati. His fully blossomed lotus like face is adorned by an attractive, subtle, genteel, bewitching smile, who is most easily accessible to his devotees. The radiant glow of his body is beautifully bluish tinged like a Indraneel mani, the sapphire worn by Indra, and his enchanting eyes are as adorable as a white lotus. It is you who appears in the three forms of Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva by the predominance of either of the three gunas, qualities, even as the same sun appears as different and numerous as number of ponds of water. I sing hymns in your honor who are worthy praises even by Indra and are an image of reflection of the Supreme Lord. Your divine body is as beautiful or as charming as that of crores of Kamdeo cupids. You are very far away from or inaccessible to those who are confused or entangled by following hundreds of paths or means to attain salvation, instead of concentrating on your real true form as described in the Shatpat Brahman of the Vedas. You are attainable by realizing your true form as described in the Brihad Aranyak Upanishad of the Shatpat Brahman. You are always present and experienced in the hearts as ascetics. I bow reverentially at the holy and venerated feet of Lord Raghupati, who is such an eliminator of distress, agonies, troubles, and tribulations. When Jatayu had prayed in this manner, the most exalted amongst the Raghus, Sri Ram was pleased with him and said, O Jatayu, you be blessed. You go to my supreme abode, the Loka of Vishnu. It's called Saket. Those persons who listen, write, read, or recite this stotra of mine with due concentration, conviction, faith, and dedication attain oneness with me and get the benefit of remembering me at the time of death. The elderly and revered one Jatayu heard these sweet words spoken by Raghav with great delight, and thereafter he assumed a form similar to Lord Ram and went to the abode which is worshipped by Brahma himself. With that, we come to the end of Canto 8. Aranya Kand, Canto 9, Slaying of Kabandh. Lord Shiva said, O Parvati, thereafter Sri Ram resumed his search for Sita and reached another forest. There he saw a very strange demon whose chest had a large mouth, and he did not have either eyes or ears. The demon's arms were stretched for 1 yojan, that is approximately 8 miles. each like tentacles. He was the lord of demons called Kabandh and was cruel towards all creatures. Sri Ram and Lakshmana were encircled by his long arms while they walked on the forest path. Then they sighted that most strong and formidable demon. Sri Ram laughed and said to Lakshman, "O Lakshmana, look at this demon. He is devoid of a head and legs, and his mouth is in his chest. He captures whatever he can with his elongated tentacle like arms and eats them to survive. It is sure that we have also got ourselves entangled in the middle of his arms. O Raghunandan," in this case it's Lakshmana, "we do not see any way to get out of his snare. What shall we do now? Think fast, otherwise he will soon devour us." So, as a side note, this demon Kabandh resembled the octopus found in the deep waters of oceans or seas nowadays. Lakshmana replied, "O Raghav, Sri Ram, what much is there to think about? Let us become alert and carefully cut off his arms, one arm each." Sri Ram consented, saying, "All right," and sliced off his right arm, while Lakshman did the same to his left arm. Then that demon became bewildered. He said, "Who are you? Oh, the most exalted nobles or superior gods who have cut off my arms. No one is capable either in this world or among the gods to do it." At this, the lotus-eyed Ram laughingly or light-heartedly replied, "Sri Dashrath was the king of Ayodhya. I am his son Ram, and this wise one by my side is my younger brother Laxman, while Sita, who is the most beautiful in the three worlds, is my wife. We had gone out to hunt when some demons stole her or kidnapped her. We have come in search of her in this dense, uninhabited, and fearful forest. No sooner did we enter it than you surrounded us by your arms, tentacles. We cut off your arms to save our lives. Now tell us, who are you with this strange, fearful countenance?" Kabandh, the octus-shaped giant ogre, replied, "In case you are Sri Ram and you have come of your own wish to me, then I am most fortunate, privileged and blessed. In my previous birth, I was a Gandharva, intoxicated and wild with my beauty and youth. Oh, the most exalted Raghu, I had got immortality by propitiating Brahma by doing severe penances and austerities. As a result, I used to roam about unhindered and unopposed in the entire universe, enticing and luring beautiful women by my glowing and radiant beauty and charm. Once I burst out laughing on seeing the sage Ashtavakra, who was bent at 8 places in his body and looked and walked awkwardly. He became angry and cursed me. 'Oh, you evil-minded rascal, you should become a demon.' When I was scared stiff by the curse, and when I prayed to him to remedy the effect of the curse, the gracious and kind sage Ashtavakra, who was glowing with the power of his severe austerities and penances, told me how this curse would end. In the Treta Yuga, the second era of the 4th celestial cycle, Lord Narayan himself would manifest as an incarnation in the household of Dasharath, and he shall come to you. Then he would cut off your arms, which would be of 1 yojan in length. Then you will be freed of your curse and revert back to your original form of a Gandharva. Being thus cursed by him, I saw myself transformed into a demon. O Sri Ram, once I ran behind Indra angrily, at which he retaliated by hitting me on my head with his vajra. O Raghunandan, by the force of the vajra, my head and legs were thrust inside my abdomen. But I did not die due to the effects of my earlier boon by Brahma. Seeing me without a mouth, all the gods took pity on me and said to Indra, 'How will he survive without a mouth?' Then Indra told me, Your abdomen shall have your mouth, and your arms will be of 1 yojan length, like the tentacles of an octopus. Now go from here, as instructed by Indra. I have been staying here since that time, capturing forest creatures with my long arms and surviving by eating them. O Anaga, you have cut off those arms now. O the best in the clan of Raghu, now push me into a pit full of firewood and fuel. When I am burnt by you in the fire, that is, when you have performed my funeral by lighting the fire and burning my mortal and devilish body of a demon, I shall revert to my original form, and then I shall tell you the whereabouts of your wife. When Kabandh had requested so, Sri Ram asked Lakshmana to prepare a big pit, and putting him into it, he burnt him with firewood. That is, he cremated him. Then out of his body emerged the most beautiful and charming person who resembled a Kamadi or Cupid, and was adorned by all the decorative ornaments befitting demigods. He circumambulated Sri Ram as a mark of great reverence, prostrated before him, prayed to him in a choked, emotional voice with folded hands. The Kabandh turned Gandharva said to Sri Ram, O Sri Ram, today my mind is very eager to say your prayers in the form of a stuti, a stotra. You are eternal, without a beginning or end, and are not subject matter of the mind or speech. That is, they cannot discuss or comprehend you literally. They can't see or visualize you. O Lord, your real self, encompassing both the minute and the vast, in the form of the Hiranyagarbha and the Viradh respectively, is very strange, spectacular and wondrous, so much so that even the ones who can peer into the minutest of things, that is, the yogis or ascetics, are unable to understand that form which is an embodiment of Gyan. Whatever is there except you is dead, lifeless, meaningless or gross, as well as non-Atma. Hence, this mind-intellect which is separate from you, how can it even endeavor to know or comprehend you? Jiva is a combined form consisting of both the mind or intellect apparatus using logic and reasoning, as well as of the divine awareness of the Supreme Soul as it is reflected in the heart. In other words, awareness of the pure consciousness or pure self as a being and image of the Supreme Soul. They are akin to the north and south poles of a magnet, but to be a magnet is to possess both the poles. Similarly, while the mind relies on proof, experimentation, and logic, the Lord can be experienced in the heart, but cannot be proved as such by physical logic. Both contrary factors exist in a jiva or a creature. Brahm, the Supreme Soul, is the only witness to the mind intellect, and he is not the subject matter to be discussed or comprehended by the mind and speech, etc. Due to the ignorance and lack of correct and truthful knowledge, this whole animate as well as inanimate world is imposed on him who is faultless, eternal and changeless, as well as all-pervading, all-encompassing Supreme Soul. Your subtle, minute, macrocosmic form is called the Hiranyagarbha, while your gross form is called the Viradh. Your subtle, minute form, which is inherent in one's heart as bhavna, that is, which is the subject of meditation, insight and contemplation, in which one can reflect about the past, present and future of the world as per his own idea, concept, perception, can nevertheless provide auspiciousness and welfare to those who meditate or contemplate upon you. In other words, those who try to visualize or concentrate upon you in their hearts get all the benefits arising out of actual realization. Such persons become aware of the past, the present, and the future of this existence. Your gross Viradh form is established in a vast universe which is formed essentially by the seven elements, which are progressively surrounded, enveloped, sheathed, or encased one after another in sequential form or by concentric circles, with one layer or circle of element being 10 times larger than the previous elementary layer. Thus, the universe appears to be egg shaped or rounded nucleus shaped, in which is imagined, conceptualized, or visualized your form, or in other words, from which emerges your gross Virata body surrounded by these seven elements. You are the only one, the attainment of whom is called moksha, that is, the emancipation of the soul. All the various lokas, the worlds, are but your fractional parts. The patal, the netherworld, is the sole of your feet. The mahatal, the fifth region under the surface of the earth, is your heel. As a side note, something to consider, according to Shankhya Shastra, the Swayambhu Brahman created seven elements: Bhu, Bhuva, Swaha, Maha, Jana, Tapa, Satyam, or respectively, which constitute his gross body. Encircling this is the rounded globe called Earth, which is surrounded by concentric circles of water, Jal, energy, Tej, wind, Vayu, sky, Akasha, pride or haughtiness, Ahankara, and importance or ego, Mahatattva, each 10 times larger than its preceding layer or circle. The word simply means to concentrate on anything or believing and having faith in any concept by making the mind stable without getting confused or embroiled in debates, diversionary and confusing discussions, as well as myriad schools of thought and paths. So put it in a simple language. The verse that we were reading, number 35, means this: the world consists of 5 elements, that is, earth, water, energy, wind, and sky. When we say energy, it is fire. Combined in different permutations and combinations, a wise person is one who does not get distracted or confused by the various myriad shapes these combinations produce or presents before the eye of the beholder, but he tries to see the basic elements as being one and the same in this vast, diverse universe. And since the creature is also consisting, in this case, creature means jiva, consisting of 5 elements and is produced by a single cell, that is, an ovum and a sperm having a single nuclei, it is similar to the vast expanse of the universe. By logical extension, the microcosmic soul of the creature, jiva, is the same as the macrocosmic soul of the universe. The consciousness, which is the essential principle supporting an individual in the microcosmic form, Vishwa plus Taijasa plus Prajna, is the same as the one which pervades the universe in macrocosmic form, Virata, Hiranyagarbha, and Ishvara, respectively. Please also refer to the Uttarakhand Canto 5 as we come to it. Moving on, Stotra 37 and onwards. O Shri Ram, Rasatal, the 6th lower world, hell, the underworld, is your ankle joint. The Talatal, the 4th layer of the Hades, which is filled with a molten plasma, is your kneecap, while the Sutal, the upper crust, are your thighs, and the Vitala, the 3rd strata of the earth's crust or the 3rd subterranean world, represents your large buttocks. Atala and earth, the 2nd and the upper crust respectively, are your 2 pelvic girdles or the waist area, and the Bhur Loka, The empty space or sky is your navel. The brilliant Swaraloka, the divine heaven or abode of gods, is your chest region, while the Maharloka, the great Loka where the saints, sages, ascetics, and other exalted ones reside, is your neck. O Lord, the Janloka, the world inhabited by or consisting of ordinary living beings, is your face. The Tapaloka, the world where people who do severe tapa or austerities and penances reside, is your forehead. While, O the best in Raghu's clan Sri Ram, the Satyaloka, the salvation providing truthful abode of Lord Vishnu, the Lord, and from where there is no return, is your head, that is your crown. O Sri Ram, Indra and other Lokpals, custodians of the world, are your arms, the directions are your ears, the two Ashwani Kumaras are your two nostrils, while the fire has been called your mouth. The sun is your eye, the moon is likened to your mind and heart, the Kal is your eyebrow, the Vrihaspati, the Guru of gods, Jupiter, is your intellect and discriminatory powers, the Rudra, one of the 11 forms of Lord Shiva, the symbol of retribution, anger, wrath, vengeance, and tempest, is the form of your Ahankar, a reflection of ego, pride, haughtiness, arrogance, which leads to anger, wrath, ill will, and malice. The Vedas are your voice, Yam is your jaw, while the Nakshatras are the two rows of your teeth. Maya, your delusionary powers which enchants and captivates all, is your sweet and enchanting laugh. The creation, both animate as well as inanimate, is your sideways, oblique, askance glance. Kataksham. Dharma, righteousness, probity, propriety, noble conduct, is your four paths, while adharma, the reverse of dharma, is your hind part. O the most exalted Raghu, night and day are your blinks, twinkling of an eye, and brightness, divine radiance, or brilliance and splendor, respectively. O Lord, the seven seas are your stomach or abdomen, while the rivers are your veins. O Lord, the trees and medicinal herbs are your body hair, the rain is your sperm, and the strength of wisdom and knowledge is your glory, fame, and renown. This is your gross, vast, bulky, massive, macrocosmic body. If a person concentrates his mind in your vast form, incorporating this vast expanse of the universe, he gets delivered without any effort. There is no substance which is distinct or separate from this vast form of yours. Hence, O Sri Ram, I always remember that vast macrocosmic form of yours, the mere remembrance of which thrills the body and the nectar of devotional affection surges in the heart. When any jiva remembers this Virat form of yours, he gets instant emancipation and salvation. In spite of that, I do not have the need of it. I shall prefer to concentrate on your divine form in the way I behold you now. By saying that the creature is freed from his illusionary, mundane world, it means that the creature realizes that the Lord's creation is very vast, mirrored, and beyond his imagination. Compared to its expanse, he is only a speck of sand particle on a desert or sea beach. All his pride, ego, and haughtiness of being important vanishes. This removes the very cause of all ills and fills the creature with humility, peace, and contentedness. This frees him from the sense of belonging to this world, yearning for more, fighting to retain lordship over his acquisitions, and involving himself in myriad of deeds to achieve this end. In short, the whole vicious chain is snapped, and the creature is freed from its shackles. Further, this shackle is all in the mind of the creature. There are no physical compulsions on him to remain tied. So, once the mind is freed from delusions and false impressions, the rest takes care of itself. Now, Kabandh is evidently a scholarly, learned person, well steeped in the principles of Vedanta, because it is not easy to visualize the Lord in this Virata form. But, as is the general wont of devotees of Sri Ram, he prefers to concentrate or focus his attention on the Sagun aspect of the Lord rather than his Nirgun, abstract form. This is clear from the last line of verse number 98. Moving on, verses 49 and beyond. It is my earnest prayer that this visible form of yours, holding a bow and arrow, dark complexioned, adorned with matted lock of hair, and clothes made of birch, of a youthful body, and going in search of Mata Sita accompanied by Lakshmana, O Raghunandan, such a form as described above should always reside in my heart. The wise, omniscient Lord Shiva, along with Parvati, always concentrate upon this divine majestic form of yours and preaches the Tarak word mantra, Ram, Ram, which is synonymous and equivalent to the Brahm, to those dying at Kashi in Varanasi to provide them salvation. While doing so, he always remains intoxicated with devotion and is contented in his mind and heart due to supreme eternal bliss, peace, and tranquility. Hence, O the Lord of Janaki, you are verily the Paramatma himself. Your actual, real, essential, and truthful nature is not known by all because they are enchanted by your Maya. O Sri Ram, the creator of the world, as Paramatma, I bow reverentially before you. O the Lord of Ayodhya, who served by the son of Sumitra, that is Lakshmana, I reverentially bow before you. O Jagannath, the Lord of the universe, save me, save me. Trahi, Trahi, Tanme Namah. Let your Maya not cast its spell or shadow on me. So Sri Ram replied, O celestial Gandharva, I am highly pleased by your devotion. And here we share different diagrammatic examples of what was being explained by this very wise Gandharva. Now moving on, and prayers, O Anag. You go to my Sanatan abode, the eternal, truthful, and supreme abode of the Lord, which is attained by worthy ascetics only. Those people who would daily repeat these prayerful hymns or stotras of yours, which can provide liberation and deliverance, with deep conviction, faith, belief, and devotion, shall attain my eternal, supreme form, which is an embodiment of wisdom and enlightenment at the end, even while doing all the works of this mundane world. With that, we come to the end of Canto 9. Aranya Kand, Canto 10, Sri Ram's meeting with Sabari. Lord Shiva said, O Parvati, having received the requisite blessings, and while going to heaven, that Gandharva, Kabandh, said, O Raghunandan, Sabari lives in a hermitage in the yonder. Since she has great affection for your holy feet, she is expert in the path of devotion. O the most fortunate and exalted one, please do pay her a visit. She will tell you everything about Mata Sita. Saying this, the Gandharva boarded a chariot as splendorous as the sun and went to the abode of Vishnu. Verily, this is indeed the reward of remembering the holy name of Sri Ram. Hence, leaving behind that wild forest infested by fierce lions, Raghunandan slowly wended his way to reach the hermitage of Sabari. Seeing Sri Ram and Lakshmana coming near, Sabari stood up instantly with great delight and ecstasy. Her eyes welled up with tears of joy and happiness, and she fell at the feet of Sri Ram. She welcomed him, asked about his well-being, and after that seated him on a comfortable seat. Then she washed the feet of Sri Ram and Lakshmana properly with due devotion, sprinkled the water on her body, worshipped Sri Ram and Lakshman according to established traditions, and most happily and delightedly brought the nectar like divine fruits that she had been collecting for him, and offered them to him with full devotion and affection. She worshipped his lotus like feet with flowers having the fragrance of sandalwood. When the formalities of welcoming a guest were over, and the most exalted ones in the Raghu's clan, that is Sri Ram and Lakshmana, were comfortably seated, Shabri said with folded hands, O the most exalted Raghu, earlier my guru, the great sage Matang, used to stay in this hermitage. I stay here since thousands of years serving him. Now that exalted great sage has gone to the Brahmalok. At the time of his departure, he had instructed me to fix my mind and concentrate it and prevent it from wavering and wandering and stay here. He had advised me that the eternal Paramatma, the Supreme Lord, has taken birth as Sri Ram, the son of King Dasharath, for the purpose of slaying the demons and to protect the sage and hermits. He shall come here soon. You meditate upon him and stay here. Nowadays, the Lord is residing in Chitrakoot mountains. Till the time he comes here, look after your body. When Raghav comes here, you would burn your body while beholding him in front of your eyes and then go to his abode. As a note, this explains why Shabari had been collecting flowers and fruits awaiting the arrival of Sri Ram and Lakshmana, because she knew in advance that they will come. Moving on. Stotra 16. O Sri Ram, according to his instructions, I had been meditating exclusively on you and awaiting your arrival. Today, those words of my Guru have become truthful and borne fruit. O Sri Ram, even my Guru could not have your darshan. But, oh, the boundless, limitless, endless soul, I am an ignorant, illiterate, and humble woman born in a low caste, which means so I would never expect it in my wildest of dreams that I will ever get a chance to meet your holiness. I am not worthy to be called a maid of those who are themselves servants removed 100 times down the hierarchy from those who directly serve your devotees. Then what face do I have to call myself your direct servant? O Sri Ram, you are not the subject matter of the mind or speech. Then I do not know how I have been privileged enough to have your divine sight. O the Lord of gods, I do not know how to pray or sing your glories. What shall I do now? Please be pleased with me out of your own accord. Shabari, this is a side note, expresses her humility and astonishment. In the earlier verse, she means that she is so lowly by birth that she cannot imagine to even serve piously, saintly, fortunate people who are the devotees of the Lord. She expresses surprise at her good fortune and privilege that she got the most unexpected reward, which was beyond her wildest dreams. In Sutra 20 and beyond, Sri Rama replies, distinction between a male and female body, or distinction made on the basis of caste, creed, clan, name, and section of society, are not conducive for my worship. That is, they are not the essential elements or a necessity for my worship or devotion. The only factor is my sincere and dedicated devotion and faith. Those who are devoid of dedication and sincerity in my devotion and worship can never see me by any other means, such as a yajna, charity, tapa, or by studying the Vedas or any other method or deed. Hence, O gentle lady, I shall describe to you in brief the methods, means, or paths for my bhakti, devotion, and surrender to me. The first among them is communion of saints, where divine and spiritual talks are held. The second method is singing, that is, listening, reciting, or praising the stories of my divine birth and deeds in this world. The third method is to talk about my virtues, values for which I stand, and my noble characters. The fourth method is to explain to others about my divine words, as in the Upanishads, etc. O gentle one, the fifth path is to serve one's Guru, moral preceptor, teacher, guide, with full devotion and sincerity, thinking him to be next only to God, without any pretensions, conceit, and falsehood. The sixth path is to observe purity of thought, behavior, and temperament, as well as to have self control and restraint and follow other relevant rules and regulations while having inherent affection and dedication towards me and my worship. The seventh path is concentrating, meditating, and contemplating and reflecting on and worshipping dedicatedly my holy mantra with all their senses, as parts of the body, both internal and external. The eighth path is to worship, respect, revere, honor, and adore my devotees more than me, to regard all the creatures as being my image, to have detachment with all the external objects of this mundane, delusionary, materialistic world, and to possess adequately the virtues of sham, tranquility, restraint of sense organs, and dam, tolerance, forbearance. The ninth path is to discuss, contemplate upon, ponder, and endeavor to know the essential truths. O gentle lady, these are the ninefold paths of worship and devotion. O the auspicious, good charactered lady, anyone who has any of these methods or paths, whether a woman, a man, a bird, or an animal, or any other form of creature, will indeed have the emergence of devotion and worship, marked by affection and love for me in his heart. As soon as bhakti emerges, takes shape in one's heart, one can experience my true form, and those for who once experienced me, that is, realize my existence on the screen of their heart-mind complex, do attain emancipation and salvation in his birth itself, without any doubt. Hence, it is thus established that the only means of emancipation and salvation is sincere and unwavering devotion and dedication for me. Those who follow the first path are able to acquire access to the rest of the paths automatically without difficulty. As a result, they are sure to get both devotion as well as emancipation and salvation simultaneously. Since you are endowed with my pure and sincere bhakti, that is why I have come to you. Now that you have had my darshan, your emancipation and salvation is indeed a certainty. There is no doubt about it. If you know, then do tell me the whereabouts of my lotus-eyed Sita, who has been taken away by my pleasant-looking. Who has taken her away from me? Sabari said, O Lord, O the all-knowing, wise, erudite, and omniscient one, O the one who charms the universe, who appears to enchant and enthrall the world at large, you are aware of everything. In spite of that, O Lord, if you wish to maintain the traditional behavior as befitting an ordinary human, then ask me about the whereabouts of Sita, then I shall tell you. Sita has been abducted by Ravana, and at this time she is in Lanka. O Sri Ram, there is a lake called Pampa near here. Near it is a large mountain called Rishyamukh. There, Sugriv, the king of the Vanars, who is peerless in valor and famed in strength, lives with his 4 ministers. Due to the fear of his brother Bali, because of a curse by a sage, that place is totally out of bounds for Bali. O Lord, go there and befriend yourself with Sugriv. O Raghunandan, Sugriv will fulfill all your requirements. Now I shall enter the sacred fire in front of you. O Rajendra, literally Indra amongst the king, O Lord Ram, till the time I burn my mortal coil and go to the abode of Lord Vishnu, please, you must wait for one muhurt till then. That is an auspicious period of time equivalent to less than 1 hour, precisely 48 minutes, here meaning for a short while. After talking with Sri Ram in the above manner, Sabari entered the holy fire, and in a fleeting moment she burnt all her fetters, tying her to this mundane, delusionary world of endless cycle of birth and death, caused by ignorance and delusions. And by the grace of Sri Ram, she attained the most rare stature of emancipation and salvation of the soul. What is difficult when Sri Ram, who is the Lord of the universe and who is benevolent, munificent, magnanimous, and benignant towards his devotees, is pleased, though born in a low caste that is devoid of all the wherewithals for emancipation and salvation, when Sabari had attained the highest stature of mukti, liberation, freedom from the shackles of cycle of birth and death, then what is surprising if those righteous noble ones, such as Brahmins, etc., who remember, concentrate upon Sri Ram, get freedom? Without doubt, Sri Ram's devotion and worship is equivalent to attaining mukti. O people, Lord Ramchandra's devotion, dedication, and worship is the only bestower of mukti. Hence, one should diligently, eagerly, and sincerely serve the twin holy feet of Sri Ram, which are like the all wish filling Kamdenu cow. O the wise ones, keep these different, endless debates and discussions, which are confusing and vexing for the spirit, which are apparently opposed to each other, involving a bewildering array of scriptural knowledge and logic, as well as long, elaborate mantras far away from you. That is, don't bother much about them. Instead of that, you should switch on immediately to bhakti, devotion, worship, adoration, prayers, dedication, submission, humility, and singing of hymns and glories of Sri Ram, who has a divine dark complexion and resides in the heart of Lord Shiva. As a side note, these verses stress on bhakti and bhajans as opposed to all other means of attaining emancipation and salvation of the soul. Further, the methods of having devotion, as narrated by Sri Ram himself to Laxmana in Aranya Kand, Canto 4, should also be read in context of these verses. Importance of bhakti is stressed also in Ayodhya Khand and Aranya Kand. Even the Gandharva, Kabandh, referred the divine Sagun form of Lord as compared to the Nirgun form. Adhyatma Ramayan, to a great extent, is a sacred scriptural work and helps us understand better the nature of the Paramatma. For further understanding, we move into a few more concepts. Yam and Niyam. The 10 yams are truthfulness, forgiveness, simplicity, and dhyan. Lack of cruelty, that is, presence of compassion and mercy, forsaking violence, restraint of mind and sense organs, pleasant demeanor, and sweet towards all. The 10 niyams are cleanliness, bath or purification of the body, tapa, austerities, penances, alms and charities, keeping silence, yajna, that's sacrifices, religious rituals, self-study, swadhyaya, observance of vows, keeping fasts, and celibacy. He who is unmoved by entreats joy and happiness as well as sorrows, miseries, troubles, and misfortunes, gains as well as losses, victories as well as defeats equally, with equanimity and fortitude, whose desires, envies, ill wills, hatred, fear and agitation have been completely vanquished or eliminated, is the one who's truly liberated. When old age comes, the body develops wrinkles, becomes lean and decrepit. The hair change color to grey. The general appearance loses its sheen and attractiveness, while the back tends to bend. One constantly remains aware of these facts is truly liberated. When the time comes, manliness declines, eyesight fails, the ears do not hear, and the vital forces of life becomes weak and on the verge of collapse. One who's always aware of these things is truly liberated. Mahabharat Shanit Parv. With that, we come to the end of the final Canto 10 of the Aranya Kand.